in the bathroom taking a shave, and I heard a screeching.
Dropped a grumpy.
I love it. That is such a good one. How are you doing tonight, Miss Jessica? Are you ready?
I'm exhausted, but I'm here.
We'll get this show on the road. We'll catch these people up. So where we left off was with Johnny Depp's sister under his direct examination, and I believe they were coming back and doing the cross with her. And we'll probably finish out day 1 tonight and see how far we can get into day 2. Just depends on how fast this rolls through. But it's after the break, in case all you fine folks are wondering. Oh, who do we got here? We got Shani. How you doing there, doll? And of course, the rabbit hanging out as always, just being like the rabbit, the iron rabbit. Do not mess with the iron rabbit, or you guys are going to have a hard time. And of course, Cool Gamer, good to see you too. Very awesome. All right, Miss McGrath. I love this lady. She's awesome. The Triggered of Oz coming in. Good day, Jess and Shiz. Good day to you. These are folks over on your side. They're all hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
They love them some Jessica. Wow, I almost have the same picture in my background there. See Jason's pic right there? Looks like he's got Wolverine claws, except I have the swords from France, Italy. Yeah, this is Italy. That's awesome. Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Jamie's so awesome. I think I should send Jamie a link, see if she wants to come hang out. I think I should. I think Jamie's pretty damn awesome.
Go ahead.
And she doesn't have to hang out if she doesn't want to. There's no pressure there. There is never any pressure there. I gotta just find her because she's always elusive. She's had a busy day today. She's been just like on every single stream that I could possibly see. Super V saying hi to you, Jess. She's over on your side there. Good to see you. Warrior.
Shani recognized my little devil.
Mm-hmm.
The grumpy.
See, I love Sage Warrior's icon there. That's pretty damn awesome.
That is a really good picture. I like that.
Hey, Christine. Good to see you. And I think we got everyone. You're so sweet. I've been streaming all day. She has been. That's why I was like, yeah, she shows up. That's cool. If she doesn't, that's cool too. It'll be an easy night. I mean, it's nothing spectacular tonight. This is like the slog part of it, because it doesn't get interesting until like day 2 or 3, and then it starts getting really good with Baruch. Oh, he's like awesome.
Oh, Isaac,
yeah,
he's great. He's my favorite person
of the whole group. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There we go.
Depp is trending on Twitter right now.
What Depp is?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
ready for the jury? Okay, you ready?
Before he takes the witness back,
Okay.
Your Honor, really pleased, we have that second order
I
fully
am
endorsed.
very
That's too
pleased.
loud.
Yes,
Just
Good
both
let
of
me
them are
know.
completed.
That's great. I'll have an entry from my diary. Won't you? Thank you.
If
Thank you
it's
so
too
much.
loud, just let me know. I'll turn it down.
Very good.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, we're ready.
No, Christine, we got plenty going on. Thank you though. His sister's such a sweetheart.
Really is. Like, I was so sad seeing her on stand.
Yeah.
All right. We can be seated and we're ready.
It's really
to start
bad
the
as how
applications.
hard
You
they
do?
actually
Thank you,
go
Your
at
Honor.
her.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Dombrowski. I'm told that both you and I need to speak a little closer to our
Oh,
microphones.
sorry.
Thank
Okay.
you. And when we took the break, I think you had just testified that the next time you had seen Ms. Heard was when she had just returned from Australia.
Yes.
What, if anything, did you discuss with Ms. Heard when she returned from Australia?
We, excuse me, we met for dinner a late dinner, and she was telling me that she and Johnny had a fight in Australia, and I was trying to talk to her about the idea that that kind of fighting is not normal. It's too much, you know. It's not okay. But she told me that I needed to basically get down off my cross and mind my own business. She said that Johnny liked that she was feisty. You know, she was feisty, and then he loved it. And that Jerry Judge and I needed to stay out of her marriage. So
What
that
a
was the basic
B word.
conversation.
Yeah.
Did you respond at all when Ms. Heard told you to get off your cross?
I just kept saying that fighting is not normal. This kind of fighting is not normal.
No.
How close were you to Ms. Heard when you were having this conversation?
We were
About from me,
right
me
next
to
each
you.
other, right, like right here.
Did you see any marks or any discoloration on her face?
No,
Ooh.
Now, Ms. Dombrowski, I'd like to shift gears again and ask you about the period in April and May of 2016. If you could please let us know, as of April 2016, what was the state of your mother's health?
I want to punch
Not good.
Amber in the face.
Yeah, with her
Um,
snarky
Mom had been
attitude.
I'm not
She's
even
been
going to call it
also
RBF
for quite
because
some time,
she's
and,
actually a B word.
like a long, steady pace from November. So by April, she was, we knew that she was towards the end of her life. So that's what April basically was, and it went into May.
Damn
In May,
right.
we gathered everybody to come say goodbye to her.
How often, if at all, did you visit
Ooh,
your
I
mother
like
in
that.
April
I
2016?
love it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's even better.
So I was with her pretty much every day. I was a 24/7 when I wasn't, at the office or something, you know.
Did you ever see Johnny at the hospital?
Yes,
How often did you see Johnny at the hospital in April 2016?
I don't know how often I saw him. I mean, he would come and see her, you know, regularly. Even before that, when there was a period we were trying to help her communicate, and he, you know, brought in, you know, different type tools of pens, pencils, you know, drawing, crayons, just to try to help her communicate. He came as often as he could. He was there quite a bit.
And when you said you called the family together in May, would you please explain what you meant?
We were told by the doctors that Mom was at a point where there was nothing else that we could do for her, and so that we should start calling anybody that wanted to, you know, come and you know, spend a little bit of time and say their goodbyes. So we did that. We did that in May. But
And moving ahead to May 19,
Mhm.
2016, what was your mother's condition that day?
She was basically in a coma. She was medicated and just on machines, life support, where it was, slowly going away on May 19th.
How do you know that?
I was with her.
Did you see your brother in the hospital that day?
Yes.
What happened the next day, May 20th, 2016?
Well, mom passed away that morning. We had all the family was there. Johnny was there with his kids until the wee morning hours of May 20th. My kids, my sister, we were all there spending our last bits of time, and everybody else had gone home. And mom passed away probably a few hours after that, maybe 5-6 hours after that.
Who was with your mother when she passed?
Yeah,
I was.
it's rough.
Who, if anyone, told Johnny that your mother had passed?
Sorry.
Yeah, way to make her break
Take your
break
time.
up. Get all teary eyed. Good job.
I
And
did.
Chew.
I called him and I called my our other siblings to tell them.
And I'm sorry, I know this is painful. How did Johnny react when you told him that your mother had passed?
Well, he was
I was just
Sad.
about to respond to him in the chat.
suffering is
It's awesome.
So he was mostly trying to make sure that I was okay, and I was going to leave and not stay there and sort of take on everything by myself.
So he asked about how you were doing.
Oh, yes, that became quite a big topic. Yes.
Ms. Dombrowski, did you see Johnny the next day, Saturday, May 21, 2016?
I did.
You'll find him.
I had gone to his house the night we lost mom. I think we all kind of gathered our children, right? And I had my sister with me, so I had driven her back on the Saturday, and we were going to go to the funeral home. So I was while I was waiting for her, I went to go check on Johnny and see if he was okay, and wanted to go.
And did you check on Johnny Saturday morning, the 21st?
Yes, I went to see him because we had talked about maybe he would also go to the funeral home. But when I got there, he seemed upset because he and Amber had been fighting.
What else happened when you first
Indigo,
met with your
good
brother
to see you.
on the morning of the 21st when you were
Most
talking about
definitely.
going to the funeral home?
I went to go see if he was going to go with us. I got there, he was upset. Excuse me, because they were fighting. I got upset.
Legendary set.
Joking to fight,
Love it, brother.
but I went ahead and left and went to the funeral home with my sister, and then came back that evening.
Why were you upset about their fighting on that day in particular?
We had just lost our mom the day before, so I feel like that there might be the need for a little compassion, no fighting on that day.
Did Johnny end up going with you to the funeral home that day?
No, I went ahead and went, and he was gathering his stuff because he had to go pick up some items because he was going to go on tour.
Did you see Johnny again that day once you left him to go to the funeral home?
Yeah, I
rough.
came back.
Getting
that
ready to
evening.
go on
I
tour.
came
Your
back.
mom dies.
Was taking care of my sister.
Can't
for a bit,
cancel the
and
tour
then,
'cause that
before I left to go
Affects
home,
everybody
I
on
stopped
the
at his
tour.
house to make sure that he was okay.
Yeah.
And I saw him then.
And what happened when you went over to see that he was okay?
He was talking to a couple of people. I saw him briefly. He seemed to be all right, and I spoke to Jerry Judge, and they had just come back from him picking up items down at the downtown at the loft.
So when you met him the second day that time, when you met him the second time that day on May 21, Did you meet with him at his Sweetser house or at the ECB?
No, I went to the Sweetser house. He had gone down to the penthouse to pick up some of his stuff because he was going to be leaving, to go on tour. And I just stopped by after they had just gotten back.
And as of that time, the evening of May 21, your mother had just passed. What plans, if any, had been made for a funeral service for your mother?
We hadn't made any plans for a funeral service. We wanted to wait until we could get, all the friends and family, because we weren't expecting the date necessarily. But we wanted to wait till we can get all friends and family to come together to have more of a dinner, like a celebration, like Mom would want at her favorite place. So we waited. We decided to schedule it like a month or so out instead of immediate.
So you had referred to your brothers having plans to go on tour that next week, obviously not knowing that his mother was going to pass.
Right.
What, if any, other formal events had been planned for that next week before he was going on tour?
Well, he had the premiere for Alice that was on the Monday night. Mom passed on Friday, and the premiere was Monday night. And then he was going to take a flight after that. Immediately after the premiere, he had to get on a plane to go to New York to meet the band and go on to Europe.
And when you say Alice, just so the jury may understand, if you could please explain to them what Alice is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alice, and I'm so sorry right now. I don't know if it's Alice Through the Looking Glass. Maybe was that one's name, or the Alice in Wonderland Disney series where he played
Yeah.
And so that premiere for Alice in Wonderland was going to be on Monday. And what day was Mr. Depp planning to go on tour with his music band?
He had to be there Tuesday morning. So we had to schedule it. It was very tight. We scheduled a plane for him immediately after the premiere. He would get on the plane.
So he was expected to leave on Tuesday. So how long was he supposed to be on tour?
Oh God.
I believe it was a couple of months.
She's putting Brad Pitt through the ringer right now.
Oh, I'm telling
Going
you.
back to the premiere, how, if at all, did your mother's
These
passing
hoes.
affect the premiere of Alice in
How is that moving along? Because I haven't been following it.
I haven't followed it since they were fighting over the vineyard.
Right.
That
But
I guess she got mad at him for, or I don't remember. I think he sold his share to someone and she got mad at him because he didn't ask for her permission or some shit like that.
yeah, you don't need to ask for your permission to sell your share in something.
Right? It's my fucking share. I'll sell it if I want.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I'll sell as much of it as I want to. God, it's so horrible.
Ugh.
So fun.
Wonderland?
We didn't let anybody know that Mom had passed away. We kept that really close to just our, just family and friends, because he had to go do the
Oh,
premiere.
okay.
And with the
Shani
premiere, he's
corrected
on
me.
the carpet, and on the carpet he does interviews, and it didn't feel right on many levels to have him where people knew that Mom had passed away, and while he's trying to do interviews to sort of, give their condolences and their sympathies and all of that. So we kind of kept it just with us so that it wouldn't become a worldwide thing, and he could just do what he was supposed to do and do his job. And
Did you think he could handle hearing all that sympathy at the premiere?
I didn't think he should handle. I thought it would be very hard on him. It would be very hard, question after question, and condolences.
Rough.
Did there come a time when Ms. Heard filed for divorce from your brother?
Yes,
When was that?
I learned that she had filed on the Tuesday morning. After that premiere of the Tuesday morning, I was at the funeral home and I got a call from the attorney to let me know that she had filed.
Where was Johnny
Wow.
when you learned that Ms. Heard had filed for divorce?
He was already in New York, and getting ready to travel to Europe for the tour.
How did you react initially when you heard from Mr. Depp's attorney that Ms. Heard had filed for divorce?
I mean, I think understandably, you know, the timing of this, it made me sick, actually. It really made me feel ill. It made me sad, frustrated. I can't even find the word to describe how I felt when I heard that the divorce was filed the day after, you know, while I'm at the funeral home.
You didn't think the timing of Ms. Heard's filing was appropriate?
I did not. I thought something like that might have been able to wait.
Well, and here's the thing. She may have not known that mom was dead or dying on her deathbed and filed it a week ahead of time or a week beforehand, and it's already gone through and just waiting on once you file it, the court stamps it. So it could have been sometime before. So, I mean, I'm giving her a little bit of grace on this, but still it looks really crappy. Divorce right at the time your mom dies. Like, that's a lot of shit coming down on your shoulders all at once.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can understand why she'd be upset. But yeah, that's yeah, and Sage hit that right. Like, waited 2 weeks about your mother's passing on Facebook. Totally understand. Wait until you feel more comfortable. Yeah, because you're still processing all that shit. You know, their mom wasn't the greatest mom around. And that they actually, you know, were still close to her is amazing to me. I would have cut that shit off a long time ago. Bye. But yeah, that's crazy. That's just so crazy.
Did there come a time when you learned that Ms. Heard had also filed for a restraining order against Johnny?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I think I heard that.
If
also
you're
from the
liking
attorney.
that, that's not a good thing.
I believe the day before. I think it was a Thursday, I think. I learned that one.
So this was 2 days after your brother had left for New York?
Yes. Yes, because I was shocked at that. I was shocked at that and concerned that he was out of town and didn't know if he needed to be there. He was gone, you know, and I was asking the attorney and they said, no, he doesn't have to be there. No one has to be there. Amber won't be there. No one will be there. Just attorneys. It's a very simple process.
Did Johnny attend the restraining order hearing?
No, he was not in town. He wasn't in the country.
Did you see any press coverage of the restraining order hearing?
Yes, I did.
Would you please tell the jury what you saw or read?
Objection, calls for hearsay.
Not asking for the proof of what was in the articles. It's a present sense impression.
Relevant. Why is it relevant?
All right, I'll sustain it to hearsay and relevance.
Okay. Did you see was there press coverage of the hearing?
There was a tremendous amount of press coverage.
Did you read any of it?
I did read some of it. I did, you know, I saw some of it.
Putting aside the truth or falsity of what you saw, what did you see?
Relevance
Why is that relevant?
and hearsay.
No, it's not hearsay.
Was the
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question. Okay.
Ah,
How did you feel when you read the press?
Relevance.
objection.
How the witness felt is irrelevant.
What's the relevance?
I think it's relevant to her testimony, Your Honor, but I can move on.
Okay, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Ben Chu just moves right through this stuff. He is
Moving ahead
so
2
smooth.
years in time. Did you see Ms. Heard's Washington Post op-ed when it was published in December 18, 2018?
2018. Damn.
What did you think Ms. Heard's op-ed was about?
Relevance.
It's entirely relevant. They're trying to argue somehow that people didn't understand what the op-ed meant. We heard an opening where there was.
Once you approach,
Yes, ma'am.
please.
Sidebars. Gotta love the sidebars.
All right, next question.
He lost.
As Mr. Depp's brother and as his personal manager, do you have any understanding how the publication of the op-ed has affected your brother's career?
Objection, foundation, Your Honor, and hearsay.
I don't know if it's
You-
hearsay.
I apologize,
Yeah,
Your Honor.
that's fine.
But she's worked with her brother for,
I'll
Several
allow that,
decades.
but let's see where the answer goes.
There we go.
you may answer.
I'm sorry, would you mind asking it again?
Do you have an understanding of how the publication of the op-ed has affected your brother's career?
Yes. The op-ed,
Hopefully I have this on.
the op-ed
0.2.
is written.
Damn, she's talking
with,
slow.
The way it was written, the wordings within the op-ed make it very clear of a time frame.
Give the director to answer that question again. Maybe you should ask it again.
How has the publication of Ms. Heard's op-ed, putting aside for a moment its relationship to your brother, its references to your brother, how has it affected his career?
I believe there's a negative effect on
That
anyone's
happens.
career when there's accusations
I would
you
do. I would do the same.
as there have been.
My mother was not
How
nice.
has it affected him personally?
Objection, foundation.
She's his sister, Your Honor.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Personally, I know he doesn't want people to feel that that he could ever be that type of person, which he isn't. And to know that actually that is something that is attached to him now, which trickles down to his children, where I think that part more than anything is the part that has bothered him, the fact that his children have to, have this in their life.
Yeah.
Ms.
Yeah.
Dombrowski, do you believe that your brother physically abused Ms. Heard?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance, foundation.
I'll sustain the objection.
Did he just object and say foundation?
Do you
Yeah.
believe that Ms. Heard is a public figure representing domestic violence?
What was all of
No,
that
I don't. I believe
spiel
the opposite.
Lane was
Excuse me.
spitting the
I'll
other
sustain the
day?
objection.
Thank you,
Thank
Ron.
you. You can strike
Yeah.
that answer, please. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Did you get that answer?
What'd she say?
The opposite.
Sorry.
Excuse me. I'll sustain the
You'll
objection.
get it.
Thank you.
You'll get it.
You can strike that answer, please. Thank you.
Damn it.
Thank you.
Do you-
Objection.
Do you believe that Ms. Heard is a public figure representing domestic violence?
No, I don't. I believe the opposite.
Excuse me. I'll sustain the objection.
That was beautiful.
Well done, Ben Chu.
Savage.
As his
Yes.
sister and as his personal manager for decades, are you aware of any occasion on which any woman other than Ms. Heard has ever accused your brother of any type of physical abuse?
Objection, foundation, hearsay.
No, I'll allow the
Take your
answer.
time. Take your time.
Yeah.
We'll be here for a while.
How has Ms. Heard's op-ed impacted your life?
Objection, relevance.
What's the relevance?
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I
Okay,
have right
all
now.
right. I'll withdraw on question. Okay. All right.
Damn.
Cross-examination.
Yeah, I knew a
Yes,
preacher's
sir.
wife like that.
Usually how they are. They act all innocent in church, and then they're actual witches outside of church.
Yeah,
There's a lot like that, actually.
Good afternoon, Ms. Dombrowski.
there is.
So I believe we covered some of this, but just want to make sure. So you're employed at a company your brother owns, right?
Yes,
It's called Infinitum Nile. Is
yes,
that right? And it's Mr. Depp's production company.
yes,
And you're the president of that company, right?
yes.
And that is your only source of income, correct?
I have other projects that I work on the side.
It's your only job, right?
It's my full-time job, yes.
And job-wise, you don't have any other sources of income other than Infinitum Nile, right?
other projects. I have
Trying
I
to
have the
make it
opportunity for
sound
other
like she's
projects.
bad because she has a job.
All right.
No, no.
Sorry.
On the weekends, she's like giving blowies to, you
Your
know,
Honor, may I
just
approach?
All right, if you could just show counsel what
Sure.
you're.
Well,
referring
maybe
to.
he thinks everybody is like Amber Turd, where they just mooch off of men.
yeah,
All right.
or just mooch off of
Just
people.
giving I think he's just giving copies. Mr.
She's like a social leech.
Okay, I assume it wouldn't be. Okay, thank you. Yes, please.
Oh Jesus! Is that a stack of? Is that your Bible there? Rotten butt.
Rotten bottom.
Ms. Dombrowski, do you
Bottom.
remember giving a deposition in this case?
Yes,
And just a couple months ago, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
And you remember before you started that deposition being under oath, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you swore to tell the truth?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Exactly.
you were asked questions by counsel from Ms. Heard and you gave answers, right?
Yes.
Could you please take a look at page 19 of that deposition transcript in front of you?
Didn't she swear
Mm.
under oath before she started testifying?
Yes.
Sorry.
Well,
What
they're
is
trying to
that?
bring her in to say, well, didn't you swear under oath on this particular occasion for this particular thing? That's what they're trying to get her to.
And do you see on page 19,
It's going to work
line
well
8
for 'em.
through 10, you were asked a question, do you have any other sources of income other than from Infinitum Nile? And you answered no, job-wise, no.
Right.
Did you see that?
I do.
And
Yeah,
was that
at the time.
testimony correct?
Yes. But it's the same as what I said today.
Now, you have a huge financial interest in your brother's career, right?
Don't attack this lady, you dumbass.
The money that Infinitum Nile makes comes from money that Mr. Depp makes, correct?
It hasn't always historically, no.
What else does it come from?
We've had deals with other entities, companies.
And for the most part, the better your brother does in his career, the more money Infinitum Nile makes, though, correct?
I don't think it's exactly like that, no.
And you have your brother has done projects that Infinitum Nile has been the production company for, correct?
Yes,
And you have a financial interest in that company, correct?
I'm an employee.
Are you employed by his other companies as well?
I'm employed by Infinitum Nile.
Are you employed by the other companies that your brother has?
No,
Where do you receive your paycheck from? Infinitum Nile?
Infinitum Nile.
That's what she said.
And you
How
have
many
a
times she have to
financial
tell you
interest in
this?
how Infinitum Nile performs financially, correct?
Yes.
I have a salary that I get, so
He reminds me of the customers that come into
That's
my
not
work and
financial
ask me
interest,
the
if you're
same
asking
question like
a piece
50
of
different times.
no.
I'm trying
what
to
would you
get
consider
you tripped
salary
up a
financial
different
interest?
way.
Is that your
I
testimony?
consider it a salary, yes, but
Then
it
she
sounds
was
like you're
about to
asking
go
something
off
different.
on
I'm
it.
sorry, maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah. So the bottom line is you draw a salary from Infinitum Nile,
Yes,
and that's your brother's production company, correct?
yes,
Now, you feel protective of your younger brother, always have, right?
yes.
And you testified earlier today about Mr. Depp's reactions to some of your mother's anger growing up.
Mhm.
How old was Mr. Depp during the periods you were talking about? Like when he was a kid? Is that basically what you were talking about?
Repeat the
The
question.
reactions to mom's anger began as when we were children, and we've had the same reaction always, was to leave.
Right. And when you were testifying earlier about Mr. Depp's reaction being to leave, you were referring to when he was, before you left the house, when he was a kid, right?
Yes, but we left the house not.
Wait, are you muted?
Yes. Boom.
I'm like, did my audio go out or is he muted? Thought I was
Muted.
crazy for a minute.
I'm a dumbass. Yes, that is Valhalla's special icon, the Wizinator. Yep, I made that specifically for Valhalla. Yes, no, darn it. Yeah, yep. This is why I have Jessica around, so she can like tell me not to be such a dumbass. You know, she keeps boomers like me like in line. You know, we need that.
Well,
those
first
boomers.
I question if it's me that's the dumbass Then I cross
Then
check with you.
you know you're dealing with me, so you're just like, no, he's I know it. He's right there. He's talking and it nothing's happening. Oh my gosh. Finally got a new laptop. Awesome Outpost. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Been crazy way longer than a minute.
Yeah, this is true.
That's true. That
Sorry,
happens.
not sorry.
Don't ever be sorry for being crazy. Just accept it, embrace it, enjoy it.
Right?
Try not to do any harm with it. Oh, what is it? You can't see it? You can't see it? You gotta be kidding me. Oh my gosh.
You can't
You
see it
don't.
on StreamYard, I think. But it
Yeah,
should
you
show
can't
in
see
your
it.
chat.
Yeah, you can't see it on StreamYard, but you should be able to see it in chat. It's a Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes, the Wizinator.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. I had to do that one specifically for him. That's I've got Valhalla's goat there, but
You
the
know, Expert
Wizinators.
makes a good point about him not becoming a member on everyone's channels.
Oh, it did. It's
'Cause then
very
he has
much
to-
so.
But I have a branded account, so I can't even get a gifted one. I have to pay for the memberships.
Oh, Jessica, just became a
It's
new
okay.
member on my channel.
It's okay.
Just so she could spray the Wizinator.
Yeah, I want to whiz too, you know?
Exactly. Most women, if they could stand up and whiz, they would do it.
Oh, if I could stand up and pee, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Exactly. I wish it would show on StreamYard. Darn it. I really wish
Yeah,
it
it
would.
doesn't show the custom emotes. Or I think it
No.
doesn't even show the regular emojis.
Yeah, it'll show regular emojis. Like if you put hearts in there, it shows up. See, like got the goat there. Valhalla. And then like the smiley face at the end of Farrell's. Yeah, you're on
Yeah, I guess
Jessica's.
it's
No
just
wonder
the
you can't see.
custom ones don't show.
Yeah. Jessica's got some good ones too. I just figured out how to do those. I had to, whenever you get your
I
channel.
lost a couple of mine because I lost members on my channel, which I don't blame them. I kind of abandoned my channel for a while.
But you're getting it back. You're starting to do more of your gaming
Yeah.
stuff. It's like your bread
Yeah.
and butter. Like you're a gamer chick all the way through.
Oh yeah, because I like gaming and then having the chat just like come chill with me and like we talk to each other in the chat. I like chilling with my chat, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, your chat is pretty damn awesome. They're always just very active, which is so damn cool. I like having an active chat where they can just converse amongst themselves and cause all kinds of problems. And of course, Rabbit pulls up the bullshiz, the Iron Rabbit kisses, too cool. And you see the one I've got there right before the Wizinator. Aqualus! Storm did that one. That was awesome. And my wife would cry, why are you not on here with us? Yeah, why are you not on? Did you send her an invite?
Let me check Twitter. Nope, I didn't. That was me. I'm sorry, wifey, I'm a retard. As if you didn't already know that. I was at work. And I completely forgot.
Oh, that's all good. It's all good. Well,
See what happens when you work at a nursing home?
Well, well, it's either that or you cause like havoc and like wax the floors really well, so their golf balls will slide their walkers really fast. It's fun to watch those 90-year-olds pick up speed. Just kidding.
No.
No, we
No.
won't do that.
The ones that come into my work, they want me to like, I just want to go like this with my foot and just go "Bah!" Kick their walker out of from in front of them, watch them fall because they're so mean.
I don't understand why they have to be so mean.
I know. If I get that mean when I'm old, like I give my kids and my husband to like push me in front of a bus or something. I don't know. I hope I never get like that because I feel bad for the customer service people.
Indigo, that is hilarious. I tried being standing up as a kid. Piss everyone. My brothers got blamed for it. That is awesome. And because they don't want to like be abusive to their little sister, they're just like, they'll let you get away. They're just like, oh, we'll get you back. You just wait. I can see it though. Oh, I was not having for a while. You know, I'm not I'm being forced to watch this
Hey,
in minutes.
Phineas and Ferb is awesome.
Oh no, I don't know what that is.
It's a cartoon from Disney Channel.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I feel like if me and waifu's kid like hang out for one day, we'd be besties.
Man, don't get
I can
don't
feel
get
it.
Rabbit's way. I could totally see Rabbit like taking the walker and just like beating me to death with it.
Well, Rabbit's nice, so I wouldn't kick
I
her
know.
walker out of the way.
Yeah, you would just be like, "Can I help you, Rabbit?" Like I got you back. Got you back.
Not too far apart from each other, but yes.
When Mr. Depp would leave as a child during the times when your mother was angry at him, was he addicted to drugs back then?
No,
Was he addicted to alcohol?
no.
Do you think she drove
You
him to
testified
drink?
a little bit about Mr. Depp's former partner, Vanessa Paradis. You were friends with Vanessa, right?
It was a family. So
Right. You considered her family,
yeah,
Right.
she was part of the family, yes.
right? And you were friendly with her?
Yes.
You liked her?
Yes.
You were happy that your brother was with her?
I was happy that my brother was happy.
Yeah. And you didn't want to see him split up from Vanessa, did you?
You know what? I wanted both of them to be happy. It didn't matter to me if they split up or not.
You were devastated when they split up, weren't you?
I don't think I was devastated.
Were you happy about it?
No, I wanted my
I was
family to be
indifferent.
okay.
How's that?
Yeah, my
What were your
brother
emotions when you learned that your brother
married
was
to an
with
Amber
Vanessa?
Heard type and they got separated or divorced. I'd throw a big ass party for him, bigger than his wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was with someone like Amber Heard, like I was with someone that was a little twisted and kooky, and one of my bandmates at the time was just like, dude, you're better off without her. I was like, I don't know, man, this shit's twisted, weird, hurts. He was just like, you're better off without her. Trust me. she's no good for you, man. But yeah, and then you know, what was it? Months later, I met my wife. So yeah, he was
Aw.
right. He was right. Much better off. Always, it always happens for a good reason. Every time.
If I had to say, I was probably, a little sad for both of them, but beyond that, I don't really recall big emotions.
And you were sad because you were losing her as part of what you just testified was your family, right?
No,
You weren't sad about that?
no.
Now, on May 21st, 2016, you were asked some questions about that. And I know your mother's passing must have been very tough. So I'm not going to ask specific questions about that. I'm going to ask questions about the next day just to make sure that I had your testimony right. Can you remind me, you said you saw your brother the morning of May 21st?
I stopped by there at some point in the daytime, in the early part of the day.
Approximately what time?
I honestly don't remember.
Was it before lunch?
I don't remember the timing. It was just daytime.
It was daytime. And you testified that when you stopped by there for the first time that day, that you were upset because it seemed like he and Amber had been fighting. Is that what you said?
I said that they had been arguing. And I've said that I didn't love that they were arguing on. It was a horrible day to argue on.
And that was, your testimony was that you were upset that they had been arguing when you stopped by that during the daytime, right? Okay. Now you have no understanding of any of Amber or Mr. Depp's communications leading up to May 21st, correct?
I don't know that I have a lot of that, no.
Okay. But your testimony is that when you stopped by during the daytime on May 21st, that they had been fighting and that made you upset. Is that right? I'm just trying to understand what you testified to.
It's not that it made me upset. I found it upsetting.
Did you ever become aware that they hadn't actually seen each other or communicated at all before he came over at 8 p.m. on May 21st?
Foundation.
She's testified that she said that they were fighting earlier in the day. I'm asking her if she ever became aware that they hadn't actually seen each other or talked that day.
I'll allow the question. Just go ahead.
I'll ask it again. Did you ever become aware that Amber and Mr. Depp hadn't seen each other or talked that day before he came to the Eastern Columbia building the evening of May 21st?
No, I just know that what I understood was that they had a fight, whether it was over the phone or I don't know. They were arguing.
Yep.
Now, when your mother was in the last days of her life in the hospital, Amber visited her, right?
Amber did come one time by herself, if that's what you're referring to. She did come one time shortly before Johnny was also coming.
And she visited her actually more than one time, correct?
I don't recall her visiting on her own more than one time. No, I remember her coming one time because I didn't know she was coming.
I didn't know she was
and
coming
Johnny was
either.
actually also coming.
Right.
So they ended up there together.
Lots
I guess
of
I'm a
coming.
little confused because you just
Just saying.
testified that she only visited one time.
Lots of
Alone.
coming.
This is what I'm saying. I only remember the one time alone where she showed up
She
alone.
said,
I
"Not
remember
me."
one time. And Johnny came shortly after she was there.
And other times
See?
she visited with Johnny or other people. Is that right?
She visited with Johnny sometimes.
During the time
Most of
that
it.
Amber and Johnny were together, you became aware that he was using drugs and alcohol excessively, correct?
Objection. Yeah.
Your Honor, she's testified to what she observed during their relationship. I think it's within the scope.
No, I'll rule the objection. You can ask the question. Go ahead.
Damn.
Did you want to ask the question again?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
During the time that
Oh,
Amber
yeah.
and Johnny were dating, did you become aware that he was using drugs or alcohol excessively?
I became aware that he had been drinking. And during the time they were dating, I became aware of, at one point, a certain medication, yes.
And you formed the opinion that not only had he been drinking, but he was drinking excessively, correct?
I don't know that I formed excessively, but he was drinking.
You became aware that he was using booze, right?
I knew he was drinking.
And you knew he was using cocaine, right?
I never saw him do that, so
You became aware that he was using cocaine, correct?
I never saw him use anything like that. I became aware of people saying that.
And you became so concerned about that that you told your brother to stop using cocaine, correct?
Well, they are trying to make Johnny look to be a
I don't
adult
know
drug
that I remember
addict,
telling him to
abusive,
stop using the
cokehead.
cocaine. I think I might
That's
have told
all.
him anything that he was doing. he
Yeah, it
should
is
stop
dirty.
doing.
Heather, can you pull up exhibit 214, please? Your Honor, I'll obviously move for admission before it's published to the jury.
That's fine.
Just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be on their screen.
Man. And you know how uncomfortable this makes Johnny? Damn. You can just see him just like, man, they're just going hard at my sister and want to save her from it. But this has to come out and happen. You know, afterwards he's probably just like, sis, yeah, look at him, just like, oof, it's
Just
rough.
trying to figure out how to rotate this, Your Honor.
If it's coming from her computer screen, you have to rotate it on there. I mean,
I figured.
all this is
Poke it
doing
at
is
the screen.
mirroring whatever was on.
Yeah,
on the computer
Rottenborn,
screen. It's
sit
not
and
like-
rotate on it.
All right.
Sorry for the delay, Your Honor.
All
Appreciate
right.
your patience.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I understand. I guarantee you he was telling her, you don't have to testify on this, but she was like, no, I need to. If not more. If not more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think for the most part,
I'm
most of
looking
the
at it back in
stuff
to see
is projection, Amber Heard
the
behavior.
system.
Yeah. And he's what, 20 years or senior, something like that.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you know, drugs are going to affect him a lot different than they do her. And it depends on what kind of drugs he's used to
All right,
taking,
I think we have
you know,
You turn it off and on,
tolerance
it works and
levels
everything.
and
it. That's right. That's the secret.
Lane looks like she needs to like get a lift.
All right. That
She
looks
just
better.
looked all saggy.
Probably not wearing
Ms.
a bra.
Dombrowski, I'd like to
She
direct
looks
your
like the
attention
type
to
that wouldn't wear a bra.
the
Yeah.
She wears like
possibly.
those
Vortex
like
in the middle of the
satin
page.
camisoles
um,
instead of the bras.
if you look in the from column, there's a name that says
You
Christy
know
Dombrowski. It
which
has a
ones
number.
I'm
Is that
talking
your
about? Like
number?
the old lady ones?
Yes.
And are those texts from you to your brother, Johnny Depp?
Yes.
Sorry.
When I
Sorry
work-
for putting that image in your head.
No, because it just reminded me when I worked for Geek Squad, I had this old lady and she was like in her 90s. And she goes, I'm having problems with my computer and I think I got a virus on there. And I show up and I'm like clearing out all of this garbage that she's on there. And she had old women like in their camisoles and they were like spanking like these young guys and stuff.
So she was watching porn.
Oh yeah, she was all over it. I was
Oops, I
like,
just said the P word. Prawn. I meant prawns.
Prawn.
You know,
prawns.
like
Yeah,
the seafood.
yeah. I'm just sitting there going, really? And she's sitting there with me. She goes, I wonder how that stuff got on there. And I'm just like, I have no idea. Somebody probably hacked into your computer. You think they can do that? Yeah, probably. No, she was into the kink stuff. Hey, no kink shame. I'm just saying that's what she was into. But I did learn one thing from Geek Squad. If you have girls download almost the worst possible stuff ever imaginable. And it's not because they're looking for it. It is because they just hit okay because they want to get to whatever page they were going to. And they don't read anything or pay any attention to it. So they just hit okay. And 9 times out of 10, a computer that's infected with viruses were from girls. Just because they just click okay just to get past the screen without reading it. I had to break my wife of that habit.
And those texts were sent on or about February 5th, 2014.
Yes.
Your Honor, I move for the admission of dependencies
Damn.
of 214.
Any objection to 214?
Can I just say something?
No,
though?
just wait, ma'am. Just wait for a
I'm
question.
sorry.
I can see it, Luna. I can see you doing that out there with your whips and chains, spanking the younger men. That's Indigo. Oh, the
Like-
sidebars.
Judge Ascarotti has like she like has this sweet face and smile. Like she just looks so wholesome.
She is not. You can tell she's just going off on these guys.
Well, she's probably sick of their shit already. I would too.
Well,
After Elaine's opening, I'd,
uh,
I'd be over it too.
yeah, she was not really happy with Elaine at all. I think she just got more burned on Elaine as the whole trial went on.
hmm
Yeah, Sage Indigo is really into some stuff there. We won't talk about that. I'll let her tell you her story. I won't tell it for you. They're just still up there in that
That's just
sidebar.
between you and Mr. Depp, right?
Oh, sorry. There we go. Night, nerd. You have a good one. Sleep well, brother. Sleep well.
All right, so you're moving in 214, we'll receive it redacted.
Yes,
That's
Your Honor.
correct. Okay, over objection, that's fine. And you wanted to publish just the redacted parts,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I've
Okay,
seen some stuff.
that's fine. Right now, you just have the dates up. Is that what you want to start with?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can publish that
Thank
too,
you.
Jerry. Okay,
Ms. Dombrowski, I just because we can only show part of this page. Do you see that these, you just testified these were text messages between you and Mr. Depp, right? And do you see that these text messages were sent on February 5th, 2014?
Yes.
The bottom three? Okay. And those bottom three, you just looked at when we saw the whole page, and I know it's a little cumbersome for the jury not seeing that, but
I
you
just
testified
love that
the bottom
emoji
three
right
were
there.
text messages from you to your brother, right?
Yes.
Heather, could you just scroll to the right?
What's on that page? What's on that page?
That's good. Thank you. So on
Stop
February
Coke.
5th, 2014, you sent 3
Got that
texts to your
Coke.
brother. You sent one that said, stop drinking, right?
Mhm.
You said one that said, stop Coke, right?
Yes.
Thank you, T-Rex. You know, this deserves a really good one for you. Thank you, T-Rex. I appreciate it. Y'all love black people. Of course I love black people. How about you, Jess? You love black people?
I'm tired of answering that question for him, so I'm not going to.
Oh, sorry.
He's literally been asking me since I got monetized. I'm over it.
Stop chasing after her like that. Stalker. Love you, T-Rex. Oh, your conversation with on Ricadas between the two of you. That was so damn hilarious.
Which one?
Where you were just like, I denounce T-Rex trucking.
Oh, yeah.
In a super chat.
I'm like, this fool talking shit about me when he barely posts any content.
I laughed so hard. Oh, that was so much fun. Just because I know both of you guys. So it just made it even
Yeah,
better.
but Nick ended up still roasting me even after I paid to denounce T-Rex. It
That's all right.
backfired. It totally
I
backfired on me.
I made Nick a mod on my channel.
He's a mod on mine too.
He's never been on my channel, but I was like, I'm gonna make him a mod just because if he ever does show up over here, I'll be like,
He was watching. I was playing Hogwarts Legacy, and I guess he was watching, but he didn't say anything in the chat. And I was like struggling at one point because I wasn't paying attention when they told me how to do a certain thing where like it's where you have to launch the balls. So he sent me a super chat and he's like, launch the balls, woman. And I was like, what the hell? You're in my chat. What are you doing here? Don't you have a show tonight? He's like, nope, I'm chilling tonight. I'm like, why are you in my chat?
That's awesome.
And then occasionally he'll leave like comments under like my videos or like my community posts, just like talking shit to me. I'm like, I love you.
He's awesome. I mean, he just seems like really really like the kind of down to earth person that
Oh yeah, he's
anybody
cool.
could hang out with.
And like the thing is, like I don't mind him talking shit to me because I know like we can both throw shit at each other and neither gets butt hurt.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're both comfortable doing that with each other, I guess. It's fun though.
It is. Gotta have fun in this kind of space.
I assume you weren't talking about the soft drink, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Soft drink.
You were talking about cocaine, correct?
No. Soft drink.
I don't know what these are in reference to. So I remember they
Could
brought
be.
this up at my deposition, and these are something that they're. I don't know I don't know if there's more context to them. I don't know what they're in reference to. I know what they say, but I don't know what they're in reference to.
And what they say is that on February 5th, 2014, you were telling your brother, Johnny Depp, to stop using cocaine, correct?
No, I wrote those words, but so I'm saying I don't know that I was telling him to stop doing that. You know, in context, it would be different. It could be a different scenario.
Well, let's take it word by word. Coke, when you wrote Coke, you meant cocaine, not the soft drink, right?
Yeah.
And when you wrote pills, you meant prescription pills, right?
Yeah.
So you were telling him on February 5th, 2014 to stop drinking, stop Coke, and stop pills, right?
I wrote the words.
And did you have any reason to believe when you wrote that Mr. Depp had been on a bender recently?
Maybe.
I don't recall writing this, so I don't recall the
Could have
context
been.
of it.
She was probably on a bender herself.
I don't
Why
recall
not?
the timing or the writing of it. I don't recall anything about it necessarily.
You weren't joking when you wrote that, right? It wasn't a joke, right?
I probably was not joking, but you know,
Well,
maybe I was repeating something that
I
someone else told
I
me.
can't say shit because I don't even
Right.
remember what I said 2 days ago, to
Yeah.
be fair.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's something lethargic or really stupid, I generally don't remember half the shit I say.
Yeah. Unless it's like of importance, I'm not gonna remember it ever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm with her.
Yeah.
All right, sissy. Let's see you get through this one.
You were telling your brother to stop drinking, stop cocaine, and stop pills because you believed that he had a problem with drinking cocaine and pills, correct?
No, he did not drink cocaine.
How do you drink cocaine? Do you like mix it with water?
Well, I don't know, but the ice cubes get stuck up your nose. That's what I'm thinking. Stop doing coke. Ice cubes. Get in there and it just burns. Get like brain freeze. Nope, no problems over here.
Imagine mixing it with water and then
can't.
transferring. Because like you know how that feeling when you get water up your nose and it like hurts?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, that I
Nope.
guess that could be the same.
So no for me, fam.
Yeah. It's been a long time. I stay away from cocaine anymore.
I've never done it.
Don't. It's no point. There's really no point in it. You're just like, really? If that's how low you have to go just to get a little bit of a high, just stick with alcohol.
Yeah.
And save your septum. Just stay away from it. I've known too many people that have burned out the whole inside of their nose, like almost to their brain cavity from doing that crap. It's not good. It's not happy. Stones may break my bones, but chains and whips excite you. Good to see, T-Rex. There's some ladies that could probably accommodate that for you here. Not Jessica.
That's a Rihanna song. The S&M one.
Oh, is it? See, I don't know. I don't listen to Rihanna. But, I mean, that's just me. I've never really listened to a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song was mid anyways.
See, I don't know.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I don't really know her, but I do know redheads. Hey, Jess.
Hello. How's it going?
Good to see you.
Yeah, we're problems. But hey, spicy
Hey.
problems. It's fine.
Hey, spicy problems. So how you doing,
Yes.
Jess?
Ugh, it's been a day. For the first time ever, I've locked my keys in my car. That was stupid.
Were you out in public?
I was at the grocery store. I set my keys in my hatchback because I drive a stupid little Mini Cooper. And I set the keys in the back while I was putting in the groceries. And I was listening to a podcast, got distracted. And I'm like, okay, my keys. I'll remember that. Listening, stuff's in, shut it, and it automatically locks. And I hadn't unlocked the cab first. Yeah.
See,
that was,
now, if you were
that was
driving a Honda, almost all the Hondas have a feature that will unlock your doors.
No.
If
I
you
have
lock your keys in
10-year-old
it.
car.
I
Oh,
locked
no, I'm
my
talking-
keys in my trunk one time. Mine's a 2017 Accord Sport. And I
Mhm.
locked my keys in the trunk one time. Yeah, it didn't unlock shit. I had to call AAA.
Damn.
So, well, actually, I called AAA. They said it was going to be 2-hour wait. So I ended up calling the towing company that I worked for. And I had the manager come and open the driver door for me. And I clicked the little button thingy to open the trunk and I got my keys. And then I apologized for being a dumbass.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
it was-
convenient.
See, it wasn't uncommon. Whenever I worked at Honda, people would show up and they'd be just like, something's wrong with my car and I can't figure out, it won't lock. And I'm just like, okay. It's like, did you go on a trip recently? Yeah, we went on a trip. I was like, okay. Open up the trunk and you pull out their suitcase, set it on the ground. And you got the keys in your hand, and you close the trunk and you lock it, and it
Mhm.
stays locked. And you go, somewhere in that suitcase is a key. And that key, if you pull it out of there, you will and I don't want to go through your like dirty
I wonder, is that a feature on the push to start ones?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, mine's not push to start. They asked me if I wanted push to start. I was like, nope. Because
Pretty
I know
awesome.
better. I know better. Because my brother had an Ultima Coupe that was push to start. And once something in the computer goes out, yeah, you ain't starting shit.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot. I mean, mine's a push to start, but it also has a spot for a key. I've got a Mazda. I can pop a little thing out and start it with a
That's
key.
good. That's convenient.
Yeah,
Options.
and I can also
Yeah,
unlock
the Ultima
door with
Coupe
it.
did not have that. That
Yeah,
was
Ultima's
the downside of that car.
pain in the butt. I've worked on too many of those Ultimas, and I'm not impressed with them. I mean,
Nope.
it depends on if you get like the 3.5. Those
Yeah.
tends to be a little bit better.
Well,
Just-
I think
yeah.
the Tacoma is push to start because I just leave the keys in my purse when I'm driving it.
Yeah, same. Locking your keys to cars is such a stressful experience. Yeah, and especially when they started getting like the electronic keys where you had to have
Yeah.
like BMWs are really bad with that. Mini Coopers, all of those have the little chip on them. So
I
getting a
normally
key
carry
made.
my spare key in my bag, and I usually have like a messenger bag that's like crossed. So I leave it on me, and it's like I just switched bags this past week. So I didn't have my spare key. So
Oh, son of a
Oh, that
Thousand
sucks.
Men, bless him. He's like, I'll leave work early. He only left an hour early. Left work, came home, grabbed the key, drove 20 some miles into town because I was like just sitting at the grocery store. Meanwhile, I was asking Howard if there was going to be a Taz show, and he's like, "Nope, don't feel like it." I'm like, "Well, I just locked my keys in my car." He's like, "Find a metal rod and do this and wedge this, and if there is a tree
Nope.
branch nearby." I'm like, first
Nope.
of all, I can't reach the branches on the tree. Secondly, really?
He
Anyway,
would.
I'm like, no. I'm like,
He
no, 1,000
would.
Men is on his way. Like, it's fine. And he's like, see if they have one of those metal things on the carts that you can take off. I'm like, dude, I already told you. Like, 1,000 Men is on his way.
That's
In the
whenever
time-
what you should have told Howard is like, Howard, there is something that's quicker, faster, and so much cheaper that you didn't even think of. I'm just going to pick up a rock and chunk it through the window because the cost of a window is going to be cheaper than AAA.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we haven't been AAA
And then
members in quite a long
reload.
time. So I called the tow company and they're like, yeah, it's going to be $100 for the lockout and
$60
also
for a window.
Also a 4% charge for having to pay on a card. It's like, we'll figure it out. I had my window cracked.
$100 for a lockout. It's like
Right?
$45 minimum here.
Thousand Men used to be a tow truck driver. Like, yeah. So when they said
They were
that,
trying to rip you off, girl.
yeah, you
Yeah.
know what?
I know
Yeah.
because I used to rip people off with tow jobs.
That's whenever you just
Especially when
go,
they're paying
really?
cash.
How much is it going to be? How much?
Well, first, one of the actual tow guys had answered, and he's like, "Oh, that'll be $100. Let me put you through to my dispatch." And so before I can talk to said dispatch person, he says, "Hey, this is a lockout for $100." And it's like, I know what you just did there. Like,
He
you're
was
making
trying to rip
stuff
you
up.
off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll call a different tow company. You can just go F yourself, buddy.
And my window was down just a smidge, and I went back in the store, and it's a small town, so you know people that work in the store. I'm like, "Hey, Tim, do you guys have any coat hangers?" "Oh, I don't know," and asked some young doofus that worked there. And he's like, "Oh."
Brings you a plastic one.
Worse. This kid directed me to the dog food aisle, and he directs me to little items of clothing for dogs, and he's like, "These are the only hangers we have," and it's this little like 6-inch, 7-inch plastic hanger. I'm like, what are you doing? So that was something.
Okay,
That's no
you're
use.
right. You're right. Calling me out on it. Damn it. I don't 97 anymore. Okay.
Oh, that inflation of the pest.
Well, what we have is like this thing. I almost exposed where I work, but what we have for lockouts is this thing. It's kind of like a balloon.
Yeah,
Oh,
you got a
air
wedge.
wedge.
You put the
Yep,
wedge in there,
and you
and then you
pump it.
pump it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take your little lock piece and pop the handle, and you're good to go.
Yep.
That's I use those like all the time, especially with customers that would have their cars towed in. You're like, "Oh, I locked the keys in car." Okay, you're a moron.
That's why we have the key box, you douche.
Yeah. That would, stupid people.
1000 Men just asked me, he texted me, he's like, "Did you tell him what the make and model was of your car before he told you the price?" And I'm like, "Nope, wait a minute. Maybe I did. I was just
Yeah, you said it was a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, but I don't know if I said that. I just said, I don't know if
Well,
I just
you don't
said I
have
was at the grocery store.
all you had
or...
to say was Mini Cooper, and I can already tell you that everything's going to be 4 times the price of what you would think.
They already decided they were going to rip you off. Wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah.
But the switch for the locks are in like the middle console underneath like the heating and air bit and all that stuff. It's just a little toggle. It's a little difficult to get. That's what she said. Yeah.
Just a little
I bought
toggle.
a Swiffer thing. I wedged that thing through the window. I was like, it would fit. It's phrasing. But it wasn't long enough because it's in the middle.
Yep.
So,
It's usually what happens. Not long enough. Doesn't fit. It's first world country problems. Poor ladies.
So yeah, it's been a day, but I did get some editing done. And Shizzy, even if you can't make it on Friday, you will still be a part of my intro. So
Thank you so much. I'm hoping that I can make it on Friday. White Rabbit asked me if I would be there from 8 to 9, and so I'm just like, well, let me see, because I might be doing this with Jessica on Friday. And then we'll be leading into wherever I go, and then Winning has one going on, Expert has one going on, you have one going on.
It was too popular.
I'm gonna be going on with Waifu at 5 our time, which is 8 your time anyways. So
right. And
also, well, we're not gonna be doing like the long hours like we did the other day anyways, because that was kind of.
So how many hours you think you'll be going?
Me? Oh, not any later than Expert start time. Or are you talking to the other one?
Yeah, I was talking to you. Well, if she's going on with you.
Oh, I don't know how long she's going to stay on, but I don't plan on going past 8 p.m. Pacific, which would be start time.
Yeah, because I got invited to go on with the Expert at 11.
11. Okay. Yeah. So if you were leaving at 11, I would be from about 8 to 9. I could show up after that and probably hang out for like an hour, and then, whatever you want to do, and then jump over and hop on Winnings and show him some love.
His
There's-
is on
Spread your love
Saturday or
everywhere.
Friday.
His is, I think his is on Saturday. That you might
Yeah,
be
his
right.
is on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told Shelly. Oh wait, no, I didn't. But I might be going out to party on Saturday because Halloween
girl.
weekend, downtown. I got a costume. Like, why not?
Well, and see, even that one could be difficult for me because I've got to go to the airport early afternoon, go pick up my wife's aunt from the airport. So my wife it's really, really weird. So Thursday I'm going to be serving some barbecue because I'm going to run the smoker all night Wednesday after I get done with my
Well, we
stream
can
on Wednesday.
do instead of Friday, we can do Saturday. Like
Yeah, like
early on in the
Saturday
day.
day. Yeah,
Mhm.
that might work
Because
out
I'm
really
not
good.
gonna be out. I'm not doing my Reddit stream on Saturday either. Because, like I said, I'd
Party.
rather go party.
Well, and we could always anyone join the Mummy for Halloween, Chizzy. Don't know. I don't know if I mean, the Mummy does need love, and it's not my problem if the Mummy doesn't get any love. I've got no choice in that matter. I mean,
Lol.
I don't know. Mummy didn't reach out to me, so I don't think the Mummy's going to get love. I guess that's what happens.
I'm out of the loop on this one. That's
It's
okay.
probably a good thing. It's okay. It's okay. No, I would say no. How's that? No, I won't be hanging with Mummy. I was thinking though, if we do Saturday, yeah, we could do an early Saturday, like even midday would probably be good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, let's see, because we're 3 hours difference. So if I start at 10, 12, 1, like your 10 o'clock in the morning be like my 1 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So whatever works for you. We'll talk about it later and we'll get set up.
Cool.
Let's make this lady, her suffering is long.
As much as someone else was trying to make me believe that he had the problem.
Did you have any reason to believe that Mr. Depp had been on a recent bender?
I didn't witness benders. I don't, you know what I mean? So I'm not involved in the benders.
Understood. I'm asking, at the time when you sent these 3 text messages on February 5th, 2014, did you have any reason to believe that Mr. Depp had been on a recent bender?
I couldn't tell you about February, whatever date that is back then, and what I would know at this moment.
Did you have any reason to be worried about Mr. Depp when you sent these texts?
Again, I don't know what was happening in life at that time. I don't recall that period, the dates. I don't recall I don't recall anything about that time. These texts, I know what the words are, but I don't know what the context is of them.
Right. And so I'm asking you a question as best I can, which was, when you sent these texts, did you have any reason to be worried about Mr. Depp's use of alcohol, cocaine, or pills?
Again, I don't recall the time period of sending these texts, so I don't know that I would have any reason at that time. I don't know.
Would you have sent the text if you didn't have a reason to be worried about his use of alcohol, cocaine, or pills?
I could send those 3 separate lines like that, 3 separate texts. I could do that if it was, there's different reasons that maybe I could do that. It doesn't mean that was me giving him a message.
Have you ever sent texts to anyone else to tell them to stop drinking, stop coke, or stop pills before?
Again, I don't know that I'm telling him to stop drinking, stop coke, and stop pills. That's what I'm saying. It's the context of this.
And I appreciate that, but that wasn't my question. My question was, have you ever sent texts to anyone else in your life telling them to stop drinking, stop coke, or stop pills?
I don't believe I've ever told anybody to stop doing any of those things in a text message, but I also don't know that that's what I was doing here, is what I'm trying to say.
But you wrote those words to Mr. Depp, right?
I wrote those words.
And you didn't love the behavior that Mr. Depp was engaging in around this time frame, did you?
I don't know the time frame. I don't know what time frame you're actually referring to.
Well, in the days leading up on or around February 5th, 2014, you didn't love the behavior that Johnny Depp was engaging in, did you?
I don't recall anyone's behavior from February 2014. I don't recall February 2014.
Would it refresh your recollection perhaps to see other text messages that you sent on or around this time to determine whether or not you were worried about Mr. Depp?
If there's other context, I guess. I don't know.
Why don't we do this? Heather, can you please pull up Exhibit 210?
All right. Give us some context there, Rottenborn.
Your Honor, may I approach?
All right.
Thank you.
Damn right she is. Well, she's got a good attorney there that's been probably walking her through a lot of this stuff. Oh, you bastards. Good part about not being live.
Ms. Dombrowski, do you recognize this document as a text message chain between you and Amber Heard on February 3rd, 2014?
Yes.
And you see the chain starts about 5:20 p.m., right?
Yes.
And there's messages from Amber to you are the ones on the right, correct, in blue?
Yes.
And messages from you to Amber are the ones in gray on the left, right?
Yes.
And if you go, well, take a minute and just read that first page, please. Does this refresh your recollection about a text conversation you had with Amber on or about February 3rd, 2014?
Well, I can see this as our text exchange.
And does this refresh your recollection about concern that you may have had about the behavior that Mr. Depp was engaged in on or around that time?
Jess, I got sunburned from that thing.
No, right?
I love it.
I thought I was hitting the lower button.
I'll ask it again. Does this refresh your recollection about behavior that Mr. Depp may have been engaging in around that time?
Oh my gosh, he's gonna start a fire.
I remember
Ginger.
I remember this
Coming
period,
from the
and
sun
this is what
here,
Amber was
Shizzy.
believing that he was doing. Yes, at this period.
But does this refresh your recollection about your worry and
embarrassed and
concern
blush.
for your brother Johnny Depp around this time?
It's okay.
I still don't recall having a severe worry around this time.
Okay. Well, before you didn't recall having any worry. So does this at least refresh your recollection that you had some worry?
Honestly, I don't recall having a worry. I've had worries in the years, but I don't recall having a worry at this time. I don't recall it.
So did you have any reason to doubt what you were reading from Ms. Heard in these texts?
Do we have a reason to care
To be
at this
honest,
point? Come on, Rottenborn, do your job.
She would write things quite often or explain things quite often, and it's a bit more dramatic maybe than what we understood it to be, or maybe even sometimes the instances were different than what she was describing. So
But in any event, this conversation that you had with Ms. Heard gave you concern enough to tell your brother, stop coke, stop pills, stop booze, right?
no, I don't think it did.
It didn't. And I've asked this before, but we'll take a look at this. Is it true you didn't love the behavior he was engaging in around this time, right?
Again, I didn't witness a lot of the behavior that people are talking, that you guys are referencing. I didn't witness a lot of it.
Take a look at page 2,
Okay.
please. And just take a minute to read that, and then I'll have some questions about both of the pages.
Mhm.
I would just sit there for like
What you had been told by
10
Ms. Heard on
minutes.
the first 2 pages of these texts
I'm
gave
not
you
done.
concern about Mr. Depp's behavior and made you not love anything that he was engaging in behavior-wise around this time, right?
What I had heard from her in these texts, I didn't really love where life was at the time.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of these 2 pages in their entirety for the reasons that we discussed, both as impeachment of the witness.
All right, there are other statements in here that I do find as hearsay, so we can work with it. I'll reserve on that for this time, maybe, and we'll have
There
other
we go.
issues with it outside the presence of the jury, and we'll work on redactions, okay?
That sounds good. Can I ask her questions just about her language?
Okay.
And then we can work on redactions.
Yeah, yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir.
On the
Man,
first page, Your Honor, or I'm sorry, on the first page, Ms. Dombrowski, you write, "Where are the kids?" Why did you write that?
I don't
Yes,
know.
sir.
I don't know. I mean, I remember they asked me that at the deposition. I'm not sure.
You wrote that because you had concerns about where Mr. Depp's kids were at this time, right?
Well, if she was saying he wasn't home, I was asking where the kids were.
Because you were concerned for the kids' well-being, particularly when Mr. Depp was in this sort of state, correct?
No, I was curious about where the kids were if he wasn't home.
Were you ever
Wondering where the kids
concerned
are.
about the impact
Yeah.
on the kids of Mr.
What do
Depp's
you
drug
not
use
get,
and alcohol
woman?
use?
No,
are the kids
So
by
when
the
you wrote,
pool?
"Where are the kids?"
She dropped
you
the
had
kids
no
off at the
concern for their
pool.
actual
I
well-being.
don't know. What are you talking about? What's your
Is that right?
reference?
No.
the concern, it's not that kind of concern. She's saying he's not home. I was wondering where the kids were so that they weren't alone.
When you wrote her on page 2, "Do you want to come to office to talk?" You wrote that because you were concerned about what was going on with Mr. Depp at that point, right?
No.
No, actually, I wrote
No.
that so that she could come to the office so that we could talk
Right.
about all of it,
All of what?
of her text.
Your Honor, I'd ask for permission to publish the bottom text on page 2 that I think,
It's not up here. You just need her text.
sorry. And I guess while she's pulling that up, I'd move for partial admission of Exhibit 210 with redactions to be,
I'm gonna reserve on that.
Okay.
All right, that's. all right,
And
so
she
the
was
reserve
so
will be
damn
so that I can
polite.
Show it to the jury at this time. Okay,
okay.
but you can ask your questions about it.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. When you wrote Ms. Heard on February 3rd, 2014 at 5:42 p.m., Ms. Dombrowski, "Worry about everything." You were telling her to worry about everything and all the types of behavior that Mr. Depp was engaging in at that time, right?
I was not telling her to worry about anything. That's the way I wrote that. Sounds like I say, I worry about everything.
You're saying that you're worrying about everything? Is that right?
Yes, as a whole.
Okay, so in contrast to what you testified a few minutes ago, you actually were very worried around this time frame, correct?
I was worried about what life was. That's what I'd said.
Right. And the life that you were referring to here, what was going on in life was Mr. Depp's drug and alcohol abuse, correct?
What was going on in life was someone who constantly wanted to point out some sort of drug and alcohol abuse.
Toy
Is that
box
unfair
way.
for a spouse not to want
Shame.
their husband to abuse drugs and alcohol?
It's not
Hey,
unfair
Toy
at all.
Box.
So
Good to see you, Toy
is that a
Box.
negative to you that Ms. Heard didn't love that?
I'm sorry?
Was that a negative to you that Ms. Heard didn't love Mr. Depp's drug and alcohol abuse? Was that unreasonable of her?
Life is a highway.
To me, it was exaggerated.
I'm
is
gonna
the
ride
problem,
it.
so.
It was exaggerated.
On that
But you
ball.
testified that you
No.
personally have no personal knowledge of your brother doing cocaine.
I never saw him do it, no.
Okay, but you had enough concern to text him, stop doing coke, stop the pills, and stop the drinking, correct?
No, I really don't think that's what I was doing with him.
And what were you telling? You weren't talking about the Super Bowl, right? You were talking about drinking.
I
coke, and
understand,
drug-
I
and
understand.
pills.
But the way it's written, and I know my writing, the way it's written, I don't feel like what I was doing was me giving him an order to do that. I wouldn't typically do that. So
You're recommending-
there's other context somewhere that, for that.
Right, and that's what we're trying to explore is what is that context? Because you're very direct in those texts that the jury just looked at. Stop the
No.
booze, stop the pills, stop the coke. So if you weren't telling him to stop the booze, stop the pills, and stop the coke, what were you telling him?
I could have been telling him that, because I've had this conversation before, I could have been telling him, that
You get to
in
feeling better,
Baker.
Baker.
not
Please get to feeling
constantly
better.
accusing,
Baker.
We miss you.
This is what she would need.
You didn't write those words in your text though, right?
No, I didn't.
And when you said in the February 3rd text message exchange with Ms. Heard, I don't love any of it. I really want to be able to talk with him. That was you expressing concern about Mr. Depp's drinking and drug use, correct?
That was
I
me
didn't know
expressing
Rascal Flatts
concern
did it,
about
so-
what life was.
Oh, Chris
And
Ledoux.
there was arguments
all
all
the
the
way.
time, and
Yeah,
it
don't
felt
listen
like
to
there was this
Rascal
constant
Flatts.
unpleasantness.
And would it be unfair? Well, let me ask it this way. That unpleasantness, to your knowledge, was caused in part, at least, by your brother's drug and alcohol abuse, right?
I don't know that.
Did you ever reach your own conclusion that your brother had a problem with drugs and alcohol?
I knew my brother was drinking.
I'm
but
sorry.
I knew my brother was drinking. But in terms of like drugs, honestly, I had only one medication that I really knew of that, was an issue for him.
And what was that?
I don't remember the name of the medication. It was a prescription
Waifu
medication.
Kron, my
What was the-
crush
what was it?
is here.
It was like a pain medication that he'd been taking for a long time.
And that was what you were referring to when you said stop pills, was prescription pain medication, correct?
Again, I wasn't necessarily referring to anything in particular. I know I wrote those words. I don't know the context of the words.
Okay. But in any event, you don't dispute that on February 5th, 20, whatever date that was, on February 5th, 2014, you wrote to your brother, stop drinking, stop coke, stop pills, right?
I wrote those words, but I don't know the context of the words.
Now, February 2014 wasn't the first time that you had communications with Ms. Heard relating to concerns about drug and alcohol abuse, right? By Mr. Depp, correct?
I don't know.
She's not an expert. She's there
That's
as her
Depp's
sister.
sister.
163, please.
What's the
Yeah.
exhibit number? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're on 16.
Honestly, I think she's beautiful for her age, naturally.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. She's probably older than Madonna.
Aging naturally is
And
much better.
and you
Well,
see
point
the
that
way
out,
that
Mr.
Madonna
Brasky.
looks
Let me
now
ask you this.
as compared to
You
her.
knew
Like a damn
that
alien. She looks so gross.
Mr. Depp's drug and alcohol problem was affecting his relationship with Ms. Heard, right?
I knew that she would say that. I mean, I knew that she would say that she had issues with, him with drugs and alcohol.
And you knew from those communications that it was negatively impacting their relationship, right?
Like, ladies, be happy to age gracefully. I mean,
Stay away from the plastic.
yeah. Stay away from the plastic and the injections and all that stuff.
I knew that she would write me about them, and I
Telling
knew that
you,
she would.
so
I know she
worth
would.
it.
Try to talk about them, and I know that she would say that they were negatively impacting. I don't know that that was the
Yes.
whole situation that they had going on. To be honest, though,
Well, you didn't disbelieve her when she told you that, right?
when she told me,
What you just testified to.
Good luck.
That drinking and drugs were negatively impacting
Good
their
luck.
relationship. You didn't disbelieve her, right?
oh, I didn't.
All you have to
necessarily
do
think
is
it was
just
true,
look
no.
at their mom.
You didn't think it was true?
That it was negatively impacting their relationship.
Ouch.
I didn't
That's
necessarily think it
fact.
was 100% true. No.
Well,
Well, no,
you said
if you're
true,
I don't
and
look
100%
like my
true,
mom.
so
I
I'm
look
trying
like my
to- trying
dad's
to figure
son.
out.
well, no, I'm saying look at their parents and see how their parents age and know that that's probably how your wife is going to age. Not a bad thing,
You haven't seen my
you
mother.
know. No,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
your mother might be the most attractive woman that I've ever seen. I mean, she could be like Christy Brinkley or something like that. You never know.
My mom's pretty hot.
See,
I might just be biased though, because she's my mom.
of
Yeah,
course.
my mom's not my type.
Well, that's not what
1,000
I'm
men
saying.
across the house. Hell no.
Hell no. But I mean, that is a good judge of and not necessarily that that's how women are going to be. Just no. I aged like my dad with a huge pair of tits. That's awesome. I was trying to imagine that. Why do you think I flirt with Junior all the time? Well, why not?
Oh, legendary.
So shameful.
I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this. Or is it your testimony today that you never believed Miss Heard when she would talk to you about Johnny's drugs and drinking?
No, I think you're taking it to an extreme.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. I'm sorry if I am. So just explain to me what is, that's not your testimony. So,
I think she exaggerated things quite a bit.
but you tried to help Amber deal with Mr. Depp's drugs and drinking.
Damn right. Never
I
should.
tried to make sure that I was helpful to Amber as best I could. Yes.
And my wife started getting like some gray streaks in there. She was like, oh, I was like, I'm not worried about it. Are you trying to impress somebody? Because if you're trying to impress me, I was impressed the day that I married you. So I'm happy. Why spend money and stress and pain and all that kind of energy worrying about the gray? If it goes gray, whatever. I don't care. I will still be with
Exactly.
you no matter what. That doesn't matter. The gray doesn't matter. As long as you don't like turn into some raging Amber Heard and take a dump on my sheets or something like that, we'll be good.
Grumpy.
Leave a grumpy. God. Just so damn horrible. I mean, why would you do that?
Did you
Dropped a grumpy.
see the toy box that at you?
If you can look at
What did I say?
I only come in here to stroke it to Shizzy. We all got our quirks.
Nice.
Hey, thank you, Toy Box. I appreciate it. At least you got a quirk.
Gay. I'm just kidding.
Great. It's okay. I don't care. I mean, if you want to be gay, it's okay. I mean, we do not sexually shame here whatsoever.
I am not gay.
I'm glad you didn't play that whole thing because we would have gotten copyrighted.
This is a
Really?
text exchange between
Yep.
you and Miss Heard.
Will it really copyright you for that?
Yeah, they copyright claim it. That's why Mindset doesn't play it anymore as his intro.
Ah,
The
it
more
could
you
still
know.
copyright it though.
Mhm.
Could still copyright it. I guess we'll find out. Damn.
On March 22nd, 2013.
Damn right.
Correct?
Every one of them.
Yes.
I was
And
looking at that. Those grays are
remember earlier you
earned.
testified about being present during the filming of a documentary about Keith Richards.
Yes.
This was right around that time frame, correct?
I don't know.
Do you recall when that was?
I don't recall the dates.
And actually, one thing I wanted to ask you about that while we're at it is you testified earlier about not seeing cuts or bruises on her face. You remember that? Or do you have no knowledge whether she was wearing makeup or not that night, right?
I don't recall if she was wearing makeup or not. She typically did not.
Okay. And you weren't specifically looking for cuts or bruises because you suspected that Mr. Depp had abused her, right?
I would have no reason to look for cuts or bruises, but I would think if they were there, I would see them.
So it's the music.
Oh, okay.
Well, if it's the music, I can fix that. Just saying.
The music is what makes it.
So if you
though.
look at
it makes it extra.
Yeah, true.
Oh, but you gotta
Right.
understand, I can fix that. I can fix the music
Could you just do your own track, your own music?
because
Or-
I can get the whole thing and then add my own music to it. We'll see.
I like this.
I'll see if I can make it happen.
page one,
Do it.
exhibit 163. And Your Honor, I move for permission to publish.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
I figured you would. But
Okay,
can I do the same thing and ask her about her words to Miss Heard? And then we can reserving the right to publish it to the jury.
You
depending
can
on
ask
your
her
Honor's
to
ruling.
refresh her memory about
Right.
the conversations you're trying to
Sure.
discuss, yes.
Right.
But
So,
Yeah.
Ms.
Come on.
Dombrowski, do
Get
you
with it,
recall having a
Rottenborn.
conversation with Ms. Heard?
I mean,
One day.
Rottenborn is actually a pretty damn good lawyer. I was impressed with him throughout this trial. I mean, he's as much as I like to give him a hard time. I really think that his opening and closing were much better than Elaine could ever do, even on her finest day. So
She's awful.
got to
She
give
was
him kudos on that.
That
On or
name,
about
though.
March 22nd, 2013,
Yeah,
in
the
which Ms. Heard
name.
was expressing concerns to you about Mr. Depp's behavior.
I just expect a dragon
No,
to come
I
sweeping
don't
in at
think
any
so, no.
time.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and take a look at this document?
Reminds me of what was his name, Littlefinger
And let's just,
from Game of
let's
Thrones.
start with,
Doesn't he?
just tell me when you're done with page 1, please.
It said a Binger. Rottenborn and Binger to me.
No.
No?
Binger was a total ass. Rottenborn was very professional in his takes on shit.
No, I mean just aesthetically. Like he reminds me, just looks
Yeah.
wise, like Littlefinger.
I can see that. Yeah.
A little bit.
Binger didn't remind me of Littlefinger. Binger reminded me of like something worse.
Oh, Ms. Dombrowski, I think that's you on the screen, which is okay if you want to mark it out.
we can clear it up. We got it.
I didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Doing their own redactions.
Okay.
Damn right. That's exactly. I agree.
Okay, I've read it.
Okay. So, when you texted Ms. Heard, well, first of all, does this refresh your recollection about
Good to see you,
a
Jackpot.
conversation that you and Ms. Heard had on March 22nd, 2013, relating to Ms. Heard's concerns about Mr. Depp's behavior?
It really doesn't, but I see it here. It
But
doesn't.
you don't dispute that it is a conversation that the two of you had.
This is a text exchange between the two of us, yes.
Okay. When you wrote, "Don't be sorry," exclamation point, I am not completely sure if what is going on or why, but I don't love what it is. What did you mean by that?
I'm not 100% sure. I believe I probably meant, once again, how life was.
Right. Life, including Mr. Depp's conduct toward my client, Amber Heard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you wrote, "It is sad and I'm sorry you guys are going through this. I'm here if there's anything I can do." You were talking about you were sad that they were going through the challenges that drugs and alcohol on behalf of Mr. Depp were posing to their relationship, correct?
Oh,
If she can answer.
Oh, no, no.
I'm saying that I'm sad about that. I'm saying that I'm sad, about whatever it is that, that they're going through, but I don't know exactly what it is that they're going through.
And right, two texts underneath that, Ms. Heard tells you what they're going through, right?
She does go into about, what they have going on.
And then below that, you say, "I think with anyone in that place, confrontation unfortunately doesn't help. And sometimes conversations can seem like confrontations." Do you see that?
Mhm.
Were you suggesting to Ms. Heard that she shouldn't have a conversation with Mr. Depp about what drugs and alcohol did to him? Because it could
No.
seem like a confrontation?
No, I was
no,
not
I'm
that at
suggesting
all.
she shouldn't be
What
talking
do you
about
mean
the
by
drugs and alcohol she's been
Honestly,
doing.
what I was trying to do is trying to
Diffuse the situation.
Amber, Ms. Heard, she could be very, very vocal. And so what I was trying to do was, if they were having a conversation, if it wasn't going well, I was trying to tell her that, maybe,
Do you like the
sometimes
vocal
conversations, if you're
ones?
vocal, really loud, they're more confrontational, like just to, whatever it is, just have a
Encouraging.
nice, easy conversation.
Okay, well,
It's
so let's just go to
encouraging.
I just want to look at one more text on the top of the next page, please. When you write, Ms. Heard, on March 22nd, 2013, you said, "Disagreeing, reasoning, nudging, all can seem like confrontations. I am not sure of the volume or when some is likely to wear off, question mark." First of all, when you were talking about volume or when some is likely to wear off, you're talking about drugs or alcohol, correct?
No, I was talking about the ringing in my
She said
ears
in the
from
text
Amber
prior.
screaming.
Right?
I'm asking what,
No, I understand. I'll sustain the
Yeah.
objection.
and I'm asking what
Exactly.
you're referring to, without referring to Ms. Heard's text prior, when you say, "I'm not sure of the volume or when some is likely to wear off." What are you referring to?
Objection.
I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say is, she had all kinds of things that she said in the text prior. I'm referring to like volume of even just voices, that even you can see where I say like, the nudging and all of that. But, there was a certain way that you learned to try to talk with Amber to keep things calm.
And when you, okay. And when you said, when,
Yeah,
I thought she was.
All right,
Now
let's
it
finish
makes
your-
more sense.
Mr. Chu, that's fine. Thank you. I appreciate it. I understand. I'll let her finish your answer. That's fine, Mr. Chu.
Thank you. There was a certain way that, ultimately you learned to talk to Amber, to sort of keep things calm. So you would pacify her. You would sort of, just go along with all of her conversations, whatever, so that we would placate her all the time to keep things calm. That's what we did.
And so when you said
Mhm.
disagreeing, reasoning, nudging, all can seem like confrontations. Were you telling Ms. Heard that she shouldn't voice any concerns about her significant other's drug or alcohol abuse?
Voice any concerns to who?
To him? That she shouldn't nudge him about it or try to reason with him about drug
Yeah.
and alcohol abuse or his behavior? Is that what you were saying, that she shouldn't do that because it
right.
might seem like a confrontation?
No,
Nobody.
she was more confrontational. She was much more confrontational, always confrontational. And I was trying to say that all of these things can be confrontational and maybe take it down a notch.
Okay, so you shouldn't disagree or reason or nudge. Is that what you were saying?
No, in the way that I know that it would be done. She was much more, she wasn't there wasn't a comforting conversation.
I'm sorry. Sorry for interrupting. Were you done with your answer?
I think so.
Or do you believe that disagreeing with someone or trying to reason with them or nudging them
No,
justifies them getting abused?
he's missing the point. What she's saying.
All right.
Mhm.
As the foundation, I'll sustain as the foundation if you want.
Okay. Do you have any,
So, have you guys ever worked in any sort of customer service?
Yes.
Okay. And whenever you work in customer service, have you ever had somebody come in and they're yelling already, screeching, hollering, throwing a fit? I mean, I've seen people like smack
Yeah.
shit off the top of cars and yelling because something
Mhm.
wasn't done correctly. So whenever you run into someone like that, what do? You try to get them to calm down, because
Right.
there's no reasoning with somebody when they're yelling and screaming. And it usually leads to an extra long argument with someone like Johnny, which is probably just like, great, this is going to turn into an argument. And that's what she's saying. But of course, Rottenborn's ignoring that. And he's trying to get away around it. And she's saying, no, you don't understand.
No.
We went along to get along with Amber for Johnny's sake.
We placated
she-
her because we didn't want to deal with her bullshit. Like, and her
Exactly.
escalating things. And so I've had a couple different types of customer facing roles. It wasn't actually like in service roles per se, but I was the front desk person at like a city district or city
Yeah.
hall type of thing. So you get people coming in mad about their water bill, the roads are doing this and like whatever, and they're mad. And I didn't, in that particular job, some had raised voices and they were ready to like, take heads off of the managers or whatever, like just, they just wanted to be heard. So oftentimes it's you listen, you don't engage in an argument with them, right? You just listen. What can I do to help you? What would help make the situation better? Who can I get to discuss this with you further? Like once they've already calmed down, most of the time, it wasn't like I ran to get somebody else. It was, no, you listen to them because a lot of times they just want to be heard.
Well, and that's what she's doing with Amber.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Exactly.
other things that she's explaining is just like, I'm listening to what she has to say. And a lot of times the responses that I'm giving her is just me being just chill, just like listening to what she has to say and let her fume. And then we move on. We don't have very much longer.
Yeah, because if she contradicts her in those messages, because like what he's kind of intimating here is like, oh, well, you were being nice. She said this. You didn't call her out or this, that, whatever. And she's like, no, I'm just kind of like letting her do her thing. Keep it chill. Keep it low energy. It's not that she didn't maybe have contrary comments or opinions to whatever she was saying, right? She just didn't want to engage in escalating the discussion.
Yeah, there's no point in that. It's
No
not gonna serve any purpose.
Mm-hmm.
have you ever disagreed with or reasoned with or nudged anyone in anything in your life?
All right.
I mean, these are the words that you wrote.
I know.
Not
These are the
much
words that
longer,
you wrote
Rob.
my client disagreeing,
this
reasoning,
testimony.
nudging, all can seem like confrontations.
for
I'll
day
allow the
one.
question if you can answer.
Might be
Okay.
redirected.
Have you ever
to the
disagreed
next
or
day.
reasoned or nudged with someone in your life?
Yes,
Okay. Do you believe that doing any of those three things would justify your being abused?
I'll sustain the question.
Withdraw.
Okay, thank you. All right. How much more do you have? Probably
A little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay,
about-
since it's
about
5
an hour.
o'clock. All right, about an hour. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, since it's 5 o'clock, we're going to go ahead and release you for the day. Okay. Just a reminder,
God.
as always, please don't do any outside research. Don't talk to anybody about this case. Don't look at the news. Don't watch anything on TV. Don't read the papers and and just
If that's what you're on the police, we can. But the problem is, and the reason I think it's not hearsay is that it's impeachment under 607A7.
I understand your impeachment issue, and I understand that, and that we'll go back to 210. And I think there's an issue with impeachment there, but here I don't see any impeachment basis to add the extrinsic evidence in. You got the testimony in, but I don't see a basis to have the extrinsic evidence in.
And I would still ask the Vertex come in, not the impeachment, they're not hearsay, they're appropriate to this case.
Grim's Bar. Good to see you, brother.
What's up, Grim?
Since you don't have the context, I'm not going to allow them in. So I'm
That's
going to
some
deny.
good stuff.
I'm going to sustain the objection to 163. As far as 210, the only impeachment basis was when she testified that she didn't recall anything about a bender or him being on a bender. So I think for impeachment purposes, just the only part that comes in is the as far as Ms. Heard's text is the JD is on a bender, and not even the last part of the that's it. Okay, everything else would have to be redacted. I'm going to allow that, just that one part. That one part of everything else gets redacted as far as her text. Ms. Dombrowski's text can come in, except you have to get rid of her
There's
identifying
always the
information as far
rewatch.
as her phone number. Okay, that's it. Okay, I understand. Okay, all right, that's fine, noted. Thank you.
There you go. Hey, that's what fills in the niche.
That's exactly right. Not the last
Oh,
two
yeah.
words, and not the sentence above it, and not any of the sentences below it, or any of the other texts, but Ms. Dombrowski's text come in, but you got to just take out her phone number for me. Okay, so if you can give me, you owe me that, and I'll allow the redacted one into evidence. And you can owe that to me tomorrow, okay? And you also owe me 214 tomorrow too, correct?
Yes, sir. On that one, if we redact we only show up the last two columns. If we redact the personal identifiers.
Yeah, they're just talking about giving all the redactions.
That as long as the personal identifiers was what the objection was. So if you could.
So what do you think so far? Are you ready to do a part of day 2, or you want to hold off for a little bit?
I can hang out a little while longer.
Up to you.
Hey,
I'm literally doing homework and I'm listening.
there you go. Because a lot of this stuff you missed out on, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, because I was at work.
Yeah, same. So
I was.
that.
It's a good refresher for me. I was able to watch, but it's a good refresher.
Oh, you were able to watch. See, I wasn't. I was watching, I think, Nick's stream whenever he got it like deleted, or was that Rittenhouse? It was one of them where like the Cuck Masters. I want to remove that because that just looks really bad over there. Sorry, you're hanging out with a poo on your
It's a
screen.
grumpy.
You got a grumpy over there. I got to remove the grumpy. Got to remove the grumpy from Jess. God, so bad. Here, I'll do this so that way if it shows up, it'll show up on me. Sorry,
Grumpy
about
from
that.
nowhere.
Grumpy from nowhere. It just floats in there like an Amber Heard. Just
The ghost
Right.
grumpy.
the ghost grumpy.
I got one of the poop emoji plushies from like a claw machine one time. And the minute I brought it in the house, my mom took it and was like, nope. She's like, that's stupid. You're not keeping that. I'm like, damn. Rude. At least let me give it to the dogs to shred.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Like when somebody gives me a plushie, now I'm not really a big fan of that person. I'm like, here you go, Zeus. Have some fun.
Doggy toy.
Volstorm, brother.
Oh.
That Volstorm.
We got your Aquilus up there. He is one of the emojis now. So if you remember, you've got the Aquilus emoji. was made famous by Volstorm. If you haven't seen it,
Awesome.
just go watch last Sunday night, and it's right up there. It's pretty tight. He does a great job of it. Oh, God.
Jesus. Damn court.
Look, it's a Nissan Altima parking in a handicapped spot. See that license plate number? Write them a ticket.
I
Give
mean, they
them a
probably are
ticket.
handicapped since they can't. They're on the freaking lines.
Morons not able to drive, not driving sons of bucks.
Does the license plate say Florida? Usually California people park on the lines. Well, down here at least.
Well,
Do they do that in your area, Jess?
Parking
Like
on the
suck
lines?
at parking? Yeah.
Really, they're pretty decent unless they have like a big ass truck and they just intentionally take up 2 spots, or a nicer car and intentionally take up 2. We have pretty wide parking spaces here. I guess living in the sticks, it kind of, you're not as cramped for space, so
Must be nice.
they don't
does
try to
happen.
rip you off in the parking lot.
Man, I got when I worked at place in California. I worked on Hollywood and Vine, Taft Building, and we had our company paid for like some parking permit kind of thing, but we had to be out of there at a certain time. And I would just drive into work on, not every day, but most days I would just walk, but it was easier to, some days running late, just hop in the car and go, because it'd take about an hour to get to work walking, but I could just drive my car. I'd be there in like 5 minutes. And this guy comes over and like starts yelling at me, and I don't understand what he's saying. He's that I can't park there, and I'm like, listen, I have a parking permit. And then he takes a swing at me. It's just like, and I might have hit him a couple of times. I've never seen anybody run off screaming so fast like a little girl. It was just, and I felt really bad, but he took a swing at me. I'm like,
Was he
like,
an attendant or anything? It was just a
yeah, he
window?
was attended for like the
Oh.
parking lot itself
Okay.
and behind it, but I guess they controlled that part of the parking too. And he's like just getting all pissy with me. I'm just like, I've got a permit. We're fine. I'm just like, I'm leaving. And then he jumps in front of my car, and I get out. And I'm like, dude, go get out of the way of my car. My car had been broken into like the day before, you know,
Oh, no.
and someone just busted out the window and took the stereo out and whatever. I was just like, whatever, you guys suck anyway. So like, go. And he took a swing at me. I was like, that's a bad idea. You don't realize that
Bitch.
I don't like to fight, but when I have to. Parking attendants can be real pains in the butts. That's all I'm saying. Don't be a pain in the butt.
The judge will see it at the same time.
Okay.
I just don't have to.
Hey, Sage.
All right. We ready for the jury? We ready for the jury? Yes, sir.
Oh, by the way, folks, this is day 2. Day 2. My jury, hurry up. Run faster.
Thank you. All right, you can have a seat, Mr. Dombrowski. Mr. Dombrowski, I just want to remind you that you're still under oath at this time, okay? All right, you want to continue with your cross-examination?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Dombrowski.
Good morning.
So I believe we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but you were, in addition to being Mr. Depp's brother, you were his, I believe you referred to it as his personal manager. Is that right?
I have been referred to as, yes.
Okay. And so you were responsible for, or had some responsibility for his business affairs, right?
I actually coordinated with other people, but I didn't have full responsibility.
Right. But in terms of the information that you would receive, you would receive information that was relevant to Mr. Depp's business affairs and personal affairs, right?
At times, yes.
And you care about Mr. Depp's well-being, right?
Well, we've got time. It ain't going to
He's
happen
your brother.
tonight.
Yes.
You love him, right? It was important to you that you, in your role as both his
You
brother
rest up,
and as his
Rabbit.
manager,
Rest
be
up.
kept informed of
Take
his
care,
well-being,
Rabbit.
right?
Yes.
And if something,
And seriously, Rabbit, you rest up. Take care of yourself. Seriously. And we're all our hearts and prayers are with you and your family. Thanks.
was wrong, you'd want to know about that, right?
Yes.
Did you ever have reason to believe from anyone other than Amber that Mr. Depp had a problem with drugs or alcohol?
No.
Did you ever have reason to believe from someone other than Amber that Mr. Depp romanticized drug culture?
No.
Did you ever have reason to believe from anyone other than Amber that Mr. Depp didn't take accountability for his actions?
I didn't have reason to believe that, no.
Did you ever have reason to believe from anyone other than Amber that Mr. Depp lacked patience for getting his needs met?
I didn't have reason to believe that, no.
Did you ever have reason to believe from someone other than Amber that Mr. Depp could act like a child if he didn't get immediate satisfaction? I'm asking if she had.
I'll overrule. I'll allow it. That's fine.
Let me ask that
Let
again.
me know if that gets
Mr.
too
Dombrowski, did you ever
fast.
have reason to believe from anyone other than Amber that Mr. Depp could act like a child if he didn't get immediate satisfaction?
Overrule
Yes.
to this question. We'll see at the follow-up. Okay.
I'm sorry?
Did you ever have reason to believe from someone other than Amber that Mr. Depp could act like a child if he didn't get immediate satisfaction?
I never had reason to believe that.
Did you ever have reason to believe from someone other than Amber that Mr. Depp had fundamental issues with anger?
Sidebars.
Amber. Reason to believe from someone other than Amber that your brother had fundamental issues with anger?
I didn't have reason to believe.
And did you ever have reason to believe from someone other than Amber that your brother didn't grasp the responsibility that he had in his children's lives?
I did not have reason to believe.
Heather, can you pull up Exhibit 268, please? Ms. Dombrowski, is this an email from Dr. David Kipper to you on August 18th, 2014?
Kipper is a
No,
pain.
that's all overrule the objection.
I don't have it.
Can you see the document on your screen?
You might have to make it bigger. It's much smaller.
I don't have anything.
Oh,
Can you see it there, ma'am?
it's not showing up on her screen.
Just bear with us 1 minute. Thank you.
It's not coming up. Do you have a physical copy that she could look at?
Not that's not marked up. Let me, can you see if you can grab one?
Oh, wait, she got it.
Oh, okay.
Turns off and on. See?
That's the trick.
That's the trick.
Thank you. So take as much time as you need to read it, Ms. Dombrowski, but my question is this an email from Dr. David Kipper to you on August 18th, 2014?
Yes, it's got my name on there. Yes, it's from him.
And this is an email that you would have received on or about that date, August 18th, 2014, to the best of your knowledge?
It was sent on that date. Yes.
And it's about Dr. Kipper's treatment of your brother, correct?
I'm actually reading it.
Okay, take your time. Thank you.
Oh. Is she muted?
I hit the wrong key.
Oh,
Sorry about
there
that.
you are.
Let me do that. I actually meant to close my camera and I hit stop screen. Damn it.
Sorry.
She kind of looks like my mom when she's trying to read something on the screen. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. It's cute. I think it's adorable.
Adorable.
Is there, I'm sorry, is there more to the?
There's another page which we can go to, but my question is just this. I think we established this. This is an email that you received from Dr. Kipper, correct?
Yes.
You're under permission to publish the second paragraph on page 1 into the, and then the remainder of that paragraph on page 2 with everything redacted, else redacted.
You're asking to enter into evidence.
Yes, we'd like to enter it into evidence with those redactions.
Sure.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, this is the redaction portion of it. Let's see.
Please, in the second paragraph. Well, first of all, who was Dr. Kipper?
Dr. Kipper was the doctor that was helping my
Personal
brother,
doctor.
Excuse me, helping my brother get help from the pain medication addiction that he had.
He was helping him with his drug addiction.
The pain medication.
And your brother was addicted to pain pills.
He had been taking them for a long time, yes.
Right. And you were instrumental in hiring Dr. Kipper to help your brother try to deal with that, right?
Yes.
And so Dr. Kipper, in his role as someone treating your brother, tried to keep you informed of what was going on with that treatment, right?
Yes.
And it was important to you as both his brother, his sister, and his manager that you be kept informed of that, right?
It was important as his sister.
And well, and his issues with drugs were having an impact on his career as well, too, right?
No.
And you knew that they were having an impact on his relationship with Amber, right?
No.
She's given plenty of testimony about
Overruled,
it.
I'll allow it.
You knew that the drugs were having an impact on his relationship with Amber, right?
I knew that Amber claimed certain things.
But you didn't believe that they were?
I didn't necessarily believe it, no.
Okay. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Isn't it true that on the bottom paragraph on page 1, that Dr. Kipper informed you that your brother was uncomfortable and pessimistic that he will ever be able to stop doing drugs? I'm not asking this.
I'll allow this question, but that's the only question.
Damn.
Okay, thank you.
See, Robinboard, he's just getting those zingers
Isn't it
in
true
there.
that Dr. Kipper informed you in August of 2014 that
Oof.
your brother was uncomfortable and is pessimistic that he will ever be able to stop doing drugs?
He does write this in this email, but this email is an update. I believe, if I'm looking at the dates, and I don't remember all dates, but I know that period and what's written in the email. I think this was during the time that they were, where he was getting help from Dr. Kipper.
Right, but that's what he informed you of in your role as his manager and his sister about the status of Mr. Depp's belief that he would be able to stop doing drugs, right?
I'll allow that question.
I think he was informing me of the conversations, yes.
And he also informed you that your brother didn't take accountability for his behaviors, correct?
Johnny acted like a spoiled brat. It happens.
He's a
He does
celebrity.
say in here.
Yeah.
Yes. He wrote
Generally, celebrities are going to act like spoiled
And Heather,
brats.
if you go to the top of page 2, please.
In comparison to the regular everyday person, yeah.
In that first and second line, he also told you that your brother has fundamental issues with anger, right?
Your Honor, objection to your side. No objection.
All right.
It's the same exception that applied to the other ones. This is what he informed her.
We need to move on, though.
Heather, you can take that down. So you just testified, Ms. Dombrowski, that you understood from Amber that drugs and alcohol were impacting their relationship, but that you didn't necessarily believe that, right?
Right.
And you didn't necessarily share those concerns, right?
Right.
Did you have an occasion to speak with Amber after a plane flight from Boston to Los Angeles in May of 2014?
Objection to your side.
I just asked if she spoke with her. I'm not asking what the
I
context.
spoke. I'll overrule the objection this time.
I don't recall specific time speaking with Amber like that.
Okay. Did you become aware of an incident on a plane flight from Boston to Los Angeles in May of 2014?
Objection, my foundation.
Foundation objection?
She testified that she
I'll sustain the objection as foundation if you lay a foundation.
if something happened in your brother's life that was notable, you wanted to know about it. You testified to that, right?
Objection, false speculation.
Yes, sir.
It's a foundation question. She testified that she had insight into
No,
his daily life.
give some more
I don't see
foundation
the
for this
foundation. I'll
question.
sustain the objection if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were kept apprised of the goings on in Johnny's life, correct?
For the most part, yes.
Yeah, and you testified yesterday you saw him just about every day, correct?
When what I testified to yesterday, saw him every day was when he was with the family of Vanessa.
And you still saw him, or were in touch with him fairly frequently as his business manager and as a sister when he was with Amber, correct?
Less frequent.
Okay, but still with some frequency, right?
Yes.
And if an event had happened that was potentially harmful to your brother, you would want to know about that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And
All right, I'll sustain asked and answered. Next question.
you made an effort to make yourself available to Miss Heard to talk to you about issues she was having with your brother, correct?
Probably as a friend, that's what I would have
excuse me,
done.
I made an effort to talk to her anytime I felt she needed to speak.
Somebody's trying to call us.
Was that someone's cell phone that just
Kind of a
went
pleasant
off?
ringtone.
I
Yeah.
didn't answer it, so.
Those Ascaratis.
Oh no.
The
Ms.
judges.
Dombrowski, in addition to just Amber believing it, you believed that your brother needed help, didn't you?
Awesome.
Big.
You believed that your brother needed help with drugs and alcohol, didn't you?
Overruled ejection. Go ahead. Sorry.
I believed on the one medication I was concerned about.
And you wanted your brother to get better from his addictions, right?
I wanted to address the medication that he was on.
And you understood that Amber wanted the same thing, wanted him to get better for both him and for her, correct?
I'll sustain as to what Amber wanted.
Now, do you recall meeting with Ms. Heard on May 25th, 2000?
Well, and I sort of want to point this out because this is pretty straightforward. It's just like he wasn't an angel, but he wasn't rotten born. Is trying to say either exactly. And one thing that I think bothered me most throughout this entire case, it sounded like a really bad divorce proceeding. It didn't sound
Right.
like a defamation case, except from Johnny's point of view. For her, it sounded like that bitter divorce case that just wants to drag everything in and through the mud and create like this perception that this person is the most horrible person and they're bad for their children, and that they should be given all of the kudos because they were such a perfect person. And that's just how it came off. It just came off as a really bad divorce proceeding from her side. And from his, it was just like, listen, this lady's horrible. She's bad. She's done bad things. And I was willing to, move on with my life, forgive her, kick her to the curb, let her have her money, let her have whatever. She goes her way, I go mine. And she's going to end up with a lot in this divorce proceeding. We're out of here. And I can sort of move on with my life and my career. And then whenever she pulled this crap, it just sent everything else into a tailspin is the perception I got. And I have a feeling that's the way that the jury perceived it also, is just like he came off as like, I'm just over this crap. I'm ready to move on. And she's not ready to move on.
On that note, as far as like the shit slinging, right? It's just messy. It's just, he's the worst person ever. Because she also sued him in this case. And both of them are suing each other for defamation, right?
Right.
His whole side of it is saying, yeah, she's horrible for these reasons, but this is how it impacted me and my career, my status within the, social community, my publicity, and like all the things. It's showing that it was negatively impacting him across the board. Her side is just, yeah, well, he sucks and he did this, totally unsubstantiated, and most of it. Like, she does try to put forth evidence at some point. Sketchy evidence.
Well,
but
sketchy.
for the most part, like you were saying, like it was just the drag him through the mud. But really, there's not even a hint of an undertone of how that negatively impacted her for her side of the defamation case. And it's like, okay, I get what you're saying as far as like just an ugly divorce proceeding.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying that Johnny was perfect by far. I mean, there's a million times throughout this where I'm just like, I guess you could probably handle that a little bit better.
Sure.
A lot better, probably. And, any sort of drugs or alcohol is not going to help the situation. But
and she was also under the influence that nobody ever mentions in this.
And that's why I'm saying that's why you don't see that much coming from Johnny's side of it. They allude to it, but they're just like, we're not here to shit sling. We're just here to get this one portion handled. And we're not going to throw the kitchen sink at it. We're just basically saying, listen, she wasn't perfect. I wasn't perfect. It was a bad relationship. But once the relationship was over, there was no need for her to give this sort of attack on me to
Mhm.
basically clout chase. And we're not talking about like your regular clout chasing of, well, I did what,
Right.
so whatever. I mean, she's coming off as saying, well, this guy abused the hell out of me. He was a horrible, mean person. He beat the crap out of me. He violated me with foreign objects.
Mhm.
He cut me all to little
Criminal.
pieces. He destroyed
Criminal
me. I mean, we're talking criminal acts.
Mhm.
And I don't, she got away with it in England, but she wasn't getting away with it here.
Nope.
Because they wouldn't allow a lot of that stuff into the US court system because it's all hearsay.
Yep.
There's no rules of hearsay from what I can tell
Abroad.
in the in the English court system, but here much different attitude towards all of that. And I think that's what I think they were basing their case on how it was won in England
It's
and not
irrelevant.
here. Yeah.
The media was for sure, but in the courtroom, it does not have any place there. And I think Johnny's team did a really good job following up on what you were saying, as far as like they didn't bring all that other stuff in. They're here for the facts of the matter and substantiating factors that support those points, right? So I felt like all along they did a really good job in editing their perspective or their talking points to
Right.
just focus on that and not, muddy the waters too much with too much just back and forth. He's awful, she's awful. Well, he did this. Well, she did that. It was only what was relevant to the talking point at the time, for the most part, that I can remember. This isn't a good refresher, but from what I remember, that's what it came across to me as.
Well, and Sage is right. Oh, Amber's drug use does come out later. It's that and her abuse of him too. Yes. She doesn't come out good on that. But what I'm saying is they didn't use it as like trying to, they didn't make up shit to basically throw at it. He owned any sort of bad actions that he performed. It's just like, yes, I was probably like high as a kite here and passed out. Yes, I probably was doing X, Y, or Z. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did
But
this.
passed out does not mean abusive.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you're just showing
Yeah.
the man sleeping.
Mhm.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just messy
Yeah. It's
from her side.
Yeah. It's just shit slinging from them.
14.
I don't recall.
Let's pull up exhibit 234, please.
She looks so nice and well put
234,
together,
yes.
but I can easily picture her in like a leather jacket and like hanging out with like motorcycle gangs and stuff. I don't know. She just seems really cool.
Oh, I'm like, what are you
Aw.
doing?
Look at the puppers. Look at the puppers.
He's in a onesie because it's kind
Mr.
of
Browski, this is a
Aw,
multi-page exhibit.
so
We can,
cute.
we're not going to ask about all the pages, but is this a text message chain between Amber and you on May 25th, 2014?
Yes,
And
He is his defense.
those are your
on
texts in
offense.
gray on the left, right?
Exactly.
yes,
And Ms. Heard's texts in blue on the right?
yes.
Your Honor, we have a version of this exhibit with Ms. Heard's text redacted and the personal identifiers redacted that I'd like to ask the witness about and publish to the jury. I'm happy.
Yeah.
First,
Good
we wanna get
job.
evidence before we publish it to the jury,
Correct,
so
right.
let's-
So I'm just previewing that. Would you like me to go through the unredacted version with the witness first?
Nope.
Or
Well, if it's just her text, how is that probative if it's just her text?
because it's her text about what she, two things. One, it's her text about what she wanted for her brother. We'll get to those on page 2.
Still hearsay.
I'm allowed to ask her about her own words and what her.
No, you're
feelings were.
You
not.
can ask her about it, but it's not coming into evidence.
Okay, well, okay.
Nice.
Ms. Dombrowski, did you reach out to Ms. Heard on May 25th, 2014,
Yes,
asking her if she wanted to talk?
yes.
Why did you do that?
I
Did you do that because you had been made aware of an issue about your brother's behavior on a flight earlier that day?
I
The day
don't,
before?
I don't recall why I did that.
You don't recall why you did that?
No.
You have no awareness or memory of a flight earlier that day or the day before?
I don't recall all flights at all times. I don't have any specific memory of anything.
If you can turn to page 2, Heather. If you can look at your third text down, Your Honor, or Ms. Dombrowski, you say to him, or to Ms. Heard, you say to Ms. Heard, I love him so much, but he needs help. And I don't have all the information to help alone. Do you see that?
I'll allow that.
It is
question.
hearsay.
I do see that.
And what did you mean when you said he needs help?
I don't recall the actual timing of it, but I wanted to help him with that medication that he was on. That I know. And I know that I wanted to be able to be helpful in life because they were arguing all the time.
And I believe you testified earlier that you didn't actually have concerns about your brother's dependence on drugs, right?
No, I said that I did have about the medication.
Just the pain pills.
It was the pain pills.
Nothing else?
I didn't have concern.
So when you said he needs help, that's what you were referring to, is that you believe that your brother needed help with pills. May I approach, Your Honor?
All right.
Oh, Rottenborn, don't be such a douche flute. I know what he's trying to do.
Mhm.
So when they do the side buyers, does it count towards the time?
I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure that she would stop the clock for the sidebars. Just, because those are more procedural than anything else.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure.
Nipple buttons.
Heather, can you please pull up the pages ending in 934? Start with that, please. Actually, let's go to 936.
Just for the record, this is still in Exhibit 234. It's just base stamp page 936. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Dombrowski, do you see the message that you sent to Amber 3 down where you said he is going to see the doctor in the morning with 3 exclamation points?
Yes.
Tell me what you remember about that. Were you referring to, when you said he, you were referring to your brother, right?
Yes.
And by doctor, you meant an addiction doctor? Is that right?
I believe I would have meant Dr. Kipper.
Okay. And what was, you'd agree that it's fairly rare to get an appointment for a doctor the next day, right?
Unless they're your personal
I'll allow
physician.
it. That's fine.
I don't know that it's rare to get an appointment the next day.
Dr. Kipper wasn't an emergency room doctor, right?
No.
So what was so urgent about your brother's need to see a doctor that he was going to see Dr. Kipper the next morning when you texted this at 7:35 p.m.?
I don't know that it was urgent. I think I was happy that he was going to see the doctor.
And you were happy he was going to see the doctor because you thought he finally
It's good to
realized
know.
the problem that his drug addiction was having on himself and others, correct? That's why you were happy, right?
I was happy he was going to see the doctor because I was concerned about the pain medication he was on.
And you were concerned about what that pain medication did to your brother, right?
Yes.
You were concerned about the effect that that had on his life, right?
I was concerned about him.
And you were concerned about the effect that that drug addiction had on other relationships in his life as well, correct? I'm going through.
That's fine. I'll allow it.
You can answer.
I didn't see anything that was happening necessarily in life to be concerned about others, me. It was him I was concerned about.
So you didn't see, your testimony today is that you didn't see any effect that your brother's drug problem was having on anyone else other than him,
My concern was him. I wasn't focused on anything beyond that.
right? You weren't concerned about the effect that it could be having on anyone else. Is that your testimony?
Again, my concern was him.
That's what she said. Does she need to repeat it again?
Can you pull up page 937, please? And when you misheard the text at the top of the page at 9:20 p.m. on May 25th, 2014, and you said, I just meant I will help in getting him help. What did that mean?
It's help with Dr. Kipper, I believe.
You were referring to getting your brother help for his drug addictions, correct?
I was referring to getting him help with the medication that he was on.
And if you go to page
Nice.
938, please.
Good answer. She says that constantly throughout.
When
the
you told
medication
Amber at the bottom of
was
that
on.
page at 10:26 p.m., I think you need to tell him you were scared and you can't deal. What do you mean by that? I think you need to tell him you were scared and you can't deal. What did you mean by that? Asking her what she meant with one of her statements. It's no different from the statement I just asked her about.
I'm just not sure what the prior and consistent statement would be for this, which was
Well, that she's testified that all of Amber's concerns were overblown.
More sidebar. Judge, we know that Amber likes to blow hard, so we're just gonna try to skip over this because Amber, she is a blowhard. At least, at least that's what I found out in the back room there.
Drug abuse. You were concerned for your brother and your brother only. Is that right?
I was concerned for my brother, yes.
And only your brother. Is that right?
My brother was my focus.
Now, you, as in your capacity as his personal manager, you were often apprised of your brother's performance on movie sets, right? Did you have occasion to communicate with
Objection.
studios, for example, about movies that your brother was shooting?
Yes.
And studio executives could feel free to contact you about your brother's work?
Yes, they mostly contacted the agent.
Okay. And who was the agent at the time? Is that Tracy
Tracy.
Jacobs? And that's your brother, Mr. Depp, fired Miss Jacobs in around 2017. Is that right?
Wonder
don't know.
why.
How long was Miss Jacobs his agent?
20-something years.
And he fired Miss Jacobs at some point, right?
Yes.
After
Yeah.
his divorce from Amber?
I don't recall exactly when he fired her.
Do you recall whether it was before or after he divorced Amber?
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
You literally
But in any
just
event, you
said
had
that.
frequent communications with Miss Jacobs about your brother's
Jeez.
work, correct?
Excuse me.
And you, in the course, in your capacity as his manager, it came to your attention that he was late to movie
I'd have
sets,
been a
correct?
smart ass and been like, "Do you need hearing aids or something?
For-
Did I stutter?"
I would have said the same thing. My favorite is when Johnny gets up there and just destroys Rottenborn, where he's
Oh, that
just,
was so fantastic. Oh,
that was
I
and
loved every
where
minute
he's
of it.
just like, yes, Mr. Rottenborn. and then gets Rottenborn to object to his own question. Just like ask his question, he's objecting.
And Ron is stupid.
He's a silly boy.
You
Mhm.
testified that you had frequent contact with Miss Jacobs, his agent, right?
Yes.
And that contact included when he was shooting movies?
Yes.
And that contact included communications relating to his conduct on set? Laying the foundation.
Well, it sounds like your foundation is going to be based on hearsay, which is what we're going to be getting to.
Well,
If you can lay a foundation
If-
without it being based on hearsay.
did you have personal knowledge of your brother being late to a set? Movie shoots?
Would that be if I was physically there? Is that what you're asking? Or
Oh,
Your Honor, no,
nice.
first I'd ask you to instruct Mr. Chu not to shake his head and nod his head to the witness. That's inappropriate.
Okay.
He was.
All right. Well, I'll keep a lookout.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Ms. Dombrowski, your brother told you himself that he was late to movie shoots, didn't he? Pardon me, the admission.
I'll allow that.
Sure, a lot of actors are.
I don't
Big-time
think he
actors?
came to me and said I'm late to movie
Man,
shoots.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
late
You learned
to-
from your brother
I'm late
that
to
he
shit all the
was late to movie
time.
shoots, correct?
I think it's
I'm late to
expected.
work every day.
I don't think he would come to me to talk about
I'll
it.
allow
no.
it.
You learned,
I'm just kidding.
so you never had any communications with your brother about issues that he had being on time to movie sets? Is that your testimony?
No, what I'm saying is I worked with him for years. You know, there was never really a continuous topic of whether he was late to a movie set, him and I having a conversation.
He told you he had been late to movie sets, correct?
Jesus Christ, of course.
Everyone's been late to work before.
Yeah. Well, and also you're dealing with an actor, okay? An actor that probably has about a million other things going on, conversations with other people. He might be doing drugs. He might be high as a fucking kite.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter. You're paying this guy millions of dollars to come show up to be in your movie. And it could be a shit movie. And the only reason that it's going to do well is because of Johnny Depp showing up to that movie and being a part of it.
But it's just
Yep.
weird to me that this is being like dug into so hard because this is all third party. This is not the production crew. This is not,
But she's a
whatever
personal
Because it
manager.
goes-
be your
It goes
Yeah.
with because it
I mean-
goes with Heard's narrative of him
being drugged out.
abusing drugs and being abusive towards her and all that
Right.
bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, but there's no is there any documentation from the set from production complaining about this? If they did have it, they
No.
would use it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just
But that's why they're asking
that's
her.
what I mean.
That's why they're
Right.
asking her, because she is holding herself personally responsible for him. So that's why they're asking these questions of, because she would be in the know. The studio would be contacting her. Where is Johnny? He's not here on set. Okay. And he's making, like I said, Rottenborn's not dumb. He's making good points, but they're landing flat because her answers are so good. I mean,
That's what I'm saying too. She can just, probably, I believe she's telling the truth. She doesn't remember. It's hard to remember, especially when you're supporting somebody who has a super busy schedule, to remember specific dates and times and all the things.
Right.
So, I mean, all I'm saying is, like, if the studio had an issue, they could have looked for that to support their line of questioning with her, you know. That's all I'm saying. Like, if it existed, I'm sure they would have tried to get it, or maybe they tried and
Well,
it wasn't there.
They did.
And they're just trying to press her.
Well, and they did get some of that information, but it fell flat again because Johnny's defense team, or Johnny's team, lawyers are really good at what they do. They may look goofy and dorky, except for, you know, Vasquez.
Camille.
She's just saying.
I'll sustain the objection. Next
Can
question.
you pull up 348, please?
348.
Yeah. Trying to
You
bring
can-
in
can you blow it up so
hearsay
you
to
just see the
play.
second email
That's
down?
all she
Okay.
has.
And that second email down is an email from you to Tracy Jacobs on February 27th, 2015, right?
I'll allow that question. Let's see where we go.
The second, all the way down in here?
The second one down from the top. Sent at 12:50.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's from me to Tracy.
Okay. Now, in the second sentence of that email, you write, he told me 1 to 1.5 hours, but not 2. Yes, he was 2.5 hours late one day and 7 hours recently. Do you see that?
I do see that.
And when you said he told me, you're referring to your brother, Johnny Depp, admitting to you that he was late to movie sets, right?
I don't know that I'm referring to him now.
In any event, it was a problem. As his personal manager, you knew that it was a problem for the studios if he showed up late to set, right?
I knew that on this particular film, there were times when he was late to set.
You did know on this particular
On
film.
this particular film.
And this particular film is Pirates 5, correct?
Yes,
Pirates of the Caribbean 5? And he was filming that in Australia, right?
yes.
And this email was sent on February 27th, 2015,
Oh,
right?
you guys keep bringing stuff in that you don't need to
So
bring
you
in.
knew that as he was filming Pirates of the Caribbean 5 in 2015, early 2015, that he had problems being late to the set, right?
I wouldn't call it problems being late to set, but he was occasionally late to set.
Late enough that Disney executives called you to discuss that, right?
All right. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
And you knew that this wasn't the
Nice.
only movie that he had been late to set for, correct? She's testified about her close involvement in his personal affairs when he was shooting movies.
Yes,
You can lay a foundation, not based on hearsay.
there you go.
You talked to your brother when he was filming each of the movies that he filmed, right?
Yes.
And with respect to Pirates 5, he told you that he'd been late to the set, right?
No, I don't recall him telling me he was late to set.
Okay, so despite the fact that you said he told me, you don't recall whether that was him or not.
I don't know that. I don't know that the he in that refers to him.
You were also, I believe you testified yesterday that you were closely involved in the financial aspects of your brother's life, right?
I was closely involved in speaking with the representatives, but I wasn't really closely involved in, his financial world. That wasn't my thing.
And your brother's, the income that he made from movies or other commercial opportunities that he had, that funded of him, and it flowed, or it came in through his companies, right? And then the
Trying to
that
bring
your
it
brother made
back
came in
on
through his
her.
companies, correct?
Bastard. I see what he's doing.
I don't really understand your question.
Well, you're the president of one of those companies, Infinitum Nile, right?
Yes,
So if your brother signs a movie contract, the money, is it paid directly to him, or does it come in through a company that he owns?
Infinitum Now is completely a separate entity. So how he gets paid that's the business managers.
Okay, you were involved with discussions of opportunities that he had
What, you want
to shoot
some?
movies, correct?
Sometimes, yes.
And you were in
Drink
close contact
up.
with others on Mr. Depp's
Drink
team
up,
about
boy.
opportunities that arose, right?
just a baby.
Okay, including Tracy Jacobs,
Drink up.
Yes,
his agent,
yes.
including, in fact, you would be in contact with studios directly as well. It's from time to time, right?
Yes.
But not all the time. Time to time.
And Mr. Jacobs, well,
Why don't you ask Mr.
in your
Jacobs?
capacity as his personal manager, you became aware of financial distress that your brother was in, correct? Because you were familiar with his financial affairs, right?
I was somewhat
No.
familiar. That was the other representative's area.
Okay. Did you have occasion to become familiar with whether he was undergoing financial distress such that he needed to get movies, a certain number of movies a year?
Tracy had, a certain number, excuse me, a certain number of movies per year that she wanted him to do.
And the certain number of movies a year, to your understanding, the certain number of movies a year that your brother had to do was necessary to stave off financial distress, correct?
Mm-mm.
The certain number of movies per year, Tracy would push for a certain number of movies per year because
Okay, I just got to say, actors, actresses, they are a commodity. All right, they will. It is no different than a musician. You're a commodity. You're traded. You're bartered against. You want that actor to come and be part of your thing, whatever it is. Same way with musicians. You want them to be there at your major event, that major concert that you're running. You want to have the guys that are selling out all of the place. Like if you can get Rolling Stones to show up to your concert event, that concert event is going to go really well. That's what Johnny Depp is. He is a commodity. And so whenever they're talking about this, they're looking at it as a human aspect, and she's going from a business aspect. Yes, he has a schedule because he's got to be certain places at a certain time. He's got to put out a certain amount of movies every year because he is a commodity. And the only way that you can capitalize on that is have them out there in that space. And it's hard to explain that from a different aspect. Being a musician, I understand what she's saying. Rottenborn doesn't understand this, that Johnny Depp, just the name is a commodity. If his name is in the credits, it's gonna sell extra amount. Even if he just has a small part in the movie. I mean, think about it. Tom Cruise was in what movie was that? Where he was dressed up as like some hairy fat dude and dancing and shit like that. Oh, God,
I missed
what's
that
the name
one.
of that movie? It might have been Tropic Thunder. Something like that. It was some weird movie. No, and he was dressed up like as a fat dude, and at the very end of it, he was dancing, but I can't remember the name of the movie. But just the fact that he was in that movie, he got paid for it, and also the name recognition, having Tom Cruise in there, made people go and see the movie.
He also was into doing like passion projects. Like he was into doing artistic stuff that he thought was interesting. It wasn't necessarily going to be a big box office seller. So he would also
Right.
have those as well. Like Walrus. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
Silent Bob.
Tusk. It was Tusk. Wasn't it?
Tusk, not
Yeah.
Walrus. He was this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I was putting down.
Yeah, I knew what you were. I knew what you were throwing down, and that's the hard part that Rottenborn's not understanding. What she's understanding from being in that realm of, yes, there's a reason why, his personal agent is saying you have to do X amount of movies, because if you're doing these X amount of movies, it's going to pay all the bills that need to be covered plus a little bit of extra for you. That's and you're marketing that person the best that you can. It's just Fat Man. Yeah, he was the Fat Man.
Interesting.
God, I can't remember what movie it is. I'll find it.
it was beneficial to her.
That's the only reason she pushed for a certain number of movies a year?
That's the main reason Tracy would push for a certain number of movies per year. Yes.
Not because it was beneficial to Mr. Depp?
If it was beneficial to Mr. Depp, then it was going to be beneficial to Tracy.
Okay, but just because it was beneficial to Tracy doesn't mean it wasn't beneficial to Mr. Depp or his companies, correct?
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Now, at some point, you became aware when he was filming Pirates 5 in Australia, you became aware of an injury that he suffered to his finger, right?
Yes.
And you were involved in trying to cover up how it happened, correct?
I'll allow the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
You were involved in helping to cover up how the finger injury happened, right?
I don't understand cover up.
You were involved in making sure that people on Mr. Depp's team didn't say how he hurt his hand, correct?
Okay, I'll allow it if she can answer.
You can answer.
It was Tropic Thunder.
We certainly didn't.
It was Tropic Thunder. He's Les Grossman, and it's absolutely hilarious. So it's It's very much at the very end. Fat Fingers, and it was in Tropic Thunder. Yep. So look up Tropic Thunder, Tom Cruise dancing. You'll find it.
Okay.
It's so worth it. It's so worth it. You're gonna go, that's Tom Cruise? Because it doesn't look like him at all.
Interesting. I only saw that movie one time, and it was a long time ago. So
Oh, it's classic. It's classic.
Any press to know about it. So that's, to keep it from that.
And because you didn't want any press to know about his finger injury, you told Mr. Depp's personal assistant to make sure that to say that he wasn't sure how Mr. Depp hurt his hand, correct? You instructed him to say that.
If it was someone that I would be concerned that the word would get out to the press, I would have done that.
So it was okay to you to tell people to lie to protect your brother, right?
What?
It wasn't necessarily a lie. I didn't know how he hurt his finger myself at the time, because I'm pretty sure I know the time frame you're talking about is when it first happened.
And you have no personal knowledge to this day of how he hurt his finger, correct? Because you weren't there.
I wasn't there.
No, I wasn't throwing
Heather,
bottles.
can you pull up Exhibit 210 redacted, please? Your Honor, this is the
I
exhibit we
was there
discussed
when a
yesterday.
karate chopped that
if
hoe in her.
The court and
And it was
Jugular.
thrown.
Judge 2 agrees with the redactions. I'd just like to publish it to the jury and admit it into evidence.
If it's 210, it's already.
Judo
edited.
chop.
That's one you gave me this morning, correct? No, that's a different.
Yeah, I think that was 214.
That was 214. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. This is 210.
And I believe that this
Follows.
it's just one page. Or it's two pages, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's these 2 pages that we
They're
talked about
fun.
yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reserving your objections. Are the redactions correct? Okay, that's fine. I will enter 214 into evidence over objections.
Permission to publish, Your
All
Honor?
right, yes, sir.
Can you blow that up, please? So, Ms. Dombrowski, we discussed this a little bit yesterday. This is the text exchange between you and Ms. Heard on February 3rd, 2014, where Ms. Heard says JD is on a bender, and your response is, where are the kids, correct?
Yes.
Can you just scroll down, please.
Drop the kids off at the pool.
Let's go to the next page, please.
There you go. I put it in private chat for you guys. I can't show it
I
on
found it.
YouTube's.
I found
Scroll
it.
down to the bottom, please.
It's awesome.
And then you text
So
Amber, worry
disgusting.
about everything. Is that right?
I had
I
forgotten.
wrote the words worry about everything. It was myself. I was speaking about myself.
And you tell her, I don't love any of it, correct?
Right.
And
Okay,
Good
just
luck
stay.
with
We did
that.
go through this yesterday. Go ahead.
Seriously.
and 2 days later is when you sent your brother the text messages that said, stop booze, stop coke, stop pills, correct?
I'm not looking at it. I don't recall the timing of it.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, redirect. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Dombrowski.
Good morning.
During Mr. Rottenborn's examination yesterday and again this morning, he spent a lot of time talking to you about your brother's alleged drug and alcohol abuse. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You're not denying that Mr. Depp ever used alcohol or drugs, are you?
Objection leading.
It's redirect, Your Honor.
Let's still leading. I'll sustain this leading if you want to rephrase your question.
You also testified several times in response to Mr. Rottenborn's questions that Ms. Heard tends to say things in a more
I gotta show it because it's just so damn funny. Gotta do it. I really gotta do it. I won't play the music.
Apple bottom jeans. Is that the song or is that a different part?
All right, you got enough of it. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Ah, oh my god, my bad. I had to do it. Tom Cruise, just sorry, just a good comic relief.
in a dramatic manner. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
Why did you say that?
Yes,
I've had my own interaction one-on-one with Ms. Heard, so I know a bit about her personality.
Cocoa Puffs.
She would present information to me that was not necessarily information that was supported by everybody else that was around. And I've spent a lot of years working with my brother. We have a close team. We've, it's a many years of trusted people helping, make sure that everything in life, it works out and goes smoothly. But all those people where I would have a daily contact, whether it's about scheduling or just how the day's going for all the years, those people never said the same thing.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
think it was responsive to the question.
Well, I'll sustain the last sentence.
Yeah, please,
Just
Your Honor,
the last sentence of it, that's all.
understood. Your
Okay.
Honor. I think it goes to state of mind rather than the truth.
I just did the last sentence. I'll sustain just the last sentence.
Thank you,
Strike the last sentence. Okay.
And do you recall your testimony yesterday when you stated that after the phenomenal success of Pirates One, one of the changes to Mr. Depp's, your brother's personal life, was that there were a lot more people around him after that? Do you recall
Yes,
that?
yes.
When Johnny and Miss Heard became involved in a relationship several years later, were there still a lot of people around them, your brother, on a regular basis?
Yes.
Who were those people?
He had assistants, he had security, he had, property managers, people that helped at the house. He had quite a few people that were around all the time.
How often did you communicate with those people?
I communicated daily, not necessarily with each one of those people, but I communicated pretty much daily with people within the world.
Yeah, you're dealing with that much money. He's got
Did any
so
of those
much
people
going on.
ever raise the same concerns that Miss Heard did?
Objection, hearsay.
All right.
Again, it goes to state of mind.
I'll
You've
sustain the
got
objection.
personal
Yes,
assistance for personal assistance. That's
Yeah.
What, if any, concerns were expressed about Johnny's behavior when using alcohol?
Objection, hearsay.
Again, it goes to state of mind.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
All right. Is this witness subject to recall?
I do not believe so, Your Honor.
She's subject to recall? No.
There you are.
All right, Mr. Brusky, you're free to go, or you can stay in the courtroom. It's up to you, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brusky.
All right, your next witness.
all right. I think that's a good stopping point because we know who our
Yeah.
next witness is going to be. And it is going to be, it's going to be that man right there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's
We
his name,
can't, we can't.
Isaac?
Yes. We can't do Isaac tonight.
No,
But
that's no.
that Isaac, we will be bringing up tomorrow night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel. You know what we're going to be here. We're going to have this has been knowing the outcome of it, and I'm able to pay a little bit closer attention to a
Mhm.
lot of the testimony that we weren't able to before. Makes it puts a lot of the things in perspective, especially when you see the way that the way that Ben Chu is building his case throughout this, and the way that that Amber's team is actually building their case too. So you see both of those cases being built as the whole thing is going on, knowing
the
some of this
intentionality
information
of what they're
right.
doing, right? Yeah.
Right. It makes more sense. Like
Mhm.
you don't see the end of the story beforehand, but once you've seen how the story unfolds, then you go back and you read it again and you're like, oh, I didn't notice that before. And that's
Mhm.
where they got that part from. That little snippet piece that was not making sense later on because it didn't make sense whenever you first saw it. But they're building that foundation, which is really interesting. So what we're going to do is I've got this set up and everybody's going to be transferred over to MG Law whenever it ends, and make sure that you guys let them know that we sent them over there. And that's also we also may end up joining MG over there and giving him a hard time and showing him some love, because that's what we do here. We like to
Yep.
show just a little bit of love. And MG, we're coming for you, buddy. Just watch out.
Dropped a grumpy, pardon the term, onto the bed